So, are we live? Need to ask our tech guys. Oh, I think we're live. Hello, everyone.
Looks like we're live.
Welcome to the third edition of the Postmarten stream. And thanks everyone who watched the premiere of Supercell Chapter 3 just right there with us. It's been a really big project, as you can probably tell by the 8 months wait and the over 1 hour runtime. But I think it worked out really well. It turned out really well, I think. Hopefully the others will agree with me and you guys as well. Just want to say a big thank you to everyone who was involved, and also especially the people who are here right now. I've got Ezreal with me. He's the voice of Crown and also does a lot of the music. So if you like the action scene music with like the big, you know.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's my level of describing music. If you like that one, you can thank him as well. Also over here we got Perry. I can switch her head. She's the voice of Kale, our main character. So really happy to have you here, and also again great performance from her as well, of course. Then also not on camera we have Ben here, BMB, the author of the comic, who I'm very happy to have here as well to see their reaction, because he's the person who's seen it for the first time as well. So happy to have him here. Then we also have Oz on stage, which is very funny because their nickname is Oz, and they also they auditioned for Oz under the name Oz, and then they got to play Oz, and also doing a very great job with the voice. And then lastly also we have Carmel on stage. Carmel, the voice of Feeder, and also connected to a very special project we're gonna maybe tease a bit later. And yeah, and today just wanna talk about the behind the scenes of the Chapter 3 project, maybe other projects we're also doing, like Awoostria and the secret project I just teased, I guess. And yeah, and you guys, if you wanna ask any questions in like YouTube chat or anything, then feel free to knock out those. I guess I can open those on the phone to look at those if anyone has any questions. And yeah, we'll also talk about some other projects, as I said. Okay, cool. So, okay, now as mentioned, we got like 5 or 6 people on stage. So I don't know who would like to say some words first. Maybe let's start off with Ben, because as I said, you're the author, and maybe you can tell us a bit if we kind of catched your vision a bit, or what your reaction to the whole thing was.
Sure. I know the whole thing was very fun. There were a few things that stood out to me. And unfortunately, because the thing is like an hour long, it's like, oh gosh, which ones were the parts that like did? But right away, I do know that like the voice that you cast for Tiny Hal was very like, ooh. It had a very like Jennifer Hale kind of vibe to it, like a Commander Shepard energy, and it was just like, hell yeah, that was a good cast.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, I mentioned this in the last couple of times too, but Oz, like your performance is fantastic. It's really on point.
Oh my god, you know how validating that is, dude? I've been like doubting myself this whole. I was like, do I sound too soft or something? Or like, hi guys, my name's Oz. I voice Oz. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's been fun to hear. There were a couple of musical bits that like struck me. I already mentioned it when we were watching the thing, but whenever Desert Thousand was on screen and you could hear like the throat singing chorus in the background, that was fun to hear. Oh man, there were a handful of things that when I was watching, I was like, oh, no, it was fun to kind of grab the whole thing and kind of see it playing out. The sound design in like the bone warping scene, that was good. That was delicious.
Thanks. I guess I found a good sample on Artlist.
And I really enjoy like the throatiness of Crown's voice. Like that's
that's
fun.
also this guy over here. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But overall, like it was very fun. I know that what I gave you is basically just like the image without the word balloons and then the word balloons on their own. So like sometimes you do some editing on stuff on there that's like, oh man, you put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, that's him doing this.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Hello.
um,
Glad.
trying to run the whole thing. You know what? I should actually just pull it up on my browser. That way I can click through it real quick.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. If I can learn how to spell.
I mean, maybe in the meantime,
Spell the name of my own comic. Go ahead, go ahead.
maybe in the meantime, the other guys want to introduce themselves, or maybe also say a few words. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
Me?
you're
Okay.
on stage here. Yeah.
Yeah, well, hello. My name is Azrael. I'm voicing Crown, and I do a lot of music work with the team, along with Orlando and Cami, who I
Not seeing him anywhere.
okay.
He's also doing.
Well,
a good job.
anyway, we're like 3 people doing all the composing and recording, and yeah. Hello.
The music was beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. It was really a big chapter and a lot of work this time.
Oh yeah, and
Quite a lot of music.
yes, and obviously Perry over here, doing the voice of Kale has a lot to do as well. So maybe you also want to say a few words.
Hello. Yes, I'm Perry. I'm the tiny bird that was very neatly perched on this plush. Yeah, I'm still extremely thrilled that I get to have such an important role, a role that really challenges me and lets me do just all sorts of things. And this chapter, Kale does the whole like range of stuff from the 20 seconds of noise explosion where I just get to roll around the floor and just sound like
Oh yeah.
a kindergartner having a tantrum for a bit. That was great. I did like so many different versions of that just because I was like, oh god, there's so many ways to be full gremlin mode. So I'm very, very, very happy. That was very exhausting and very, very fun. How often as an adult do you get to do that, where you just get to just go like that, just
Every time I
all
visit the
your-
music store.
Video games.
Yes. It's like apparently I'm too quiet. You might need to boost my voice a little bit.
Yeah,
can
I
also
adjusted.
boost a little bit on my end.
It should be better now.
I can do that. A little bit as well, but I'm trying not to yell too much. I always worry when I record things at home if my neighbors secretly like thinking about what. Oh my god, how do we kill her already? How do we just get to kill her already? But yes, how often as an adult do you get to just have a full primal outrage of your emotions? So that was very good that I got to do that. I also really enjoyed the fight scene. That was a challenge. Like I definitely think that's something I need to keep working on. These like efforts, the really like intense noises. But there were some in there where I was like, that could have been better. And there were some where I was like, no, actually that one I nailed. So, it's always a room for improvement. But I was very pleased. That was an intense scene because mostly she doesn't talk a whole lot in that scene, but there's a lot of emotion in it regardless. Because I mean, that's a big thing that just happened. You just got into a fight in midair with the person who's been abducting your brother. It's there's a lot in that, and that's the sort of thing where I'm like, oh crap, I don't know if I did it justice, but I really tried my best, and I would keep doing it again if I could. It's a great scene.
I'm
I thought it
actually
was
curious
amazing.
about something.
Yeah.
It was a really nice detail that you were already talking by the time the silencer field went out, and I'm really curious what you were saying before. It's really muffled.
I guess we can.
If I'm
Sorry.
if I'm right, that was something you taught me to improvise, right? I don't think you
Yeah.
wrote a script for me.
Yeah. You definitely
I
improvised
was
there.
just like really mad. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but essentially I went like full angry, like Karen mode there, and just kind of like, "How dare you? You do this stuff. You abduct my friends. All these things, like, how dare you? Just like, what, what's wrong with you? That sort of thing."
I think
awesome.
you said some really graphic thing as well. Like I'm gonna rip out your eyeballs and feed them to you or something like that.
I was
Well,
just full like I just tried to imagine what would Kale say if there was no script, nobody could hear it, and she was just leaving all of that, just letting all of that out. I went whole hog on that. If
Yeah.
if you
And
can ever like if you ever in the mood, you could release that as a little like blooper thing, just the actual
Yeah, I was
muffled
thinking
part.
putting it in the bloopers. Yeah, I think you said something like, "Oh, you're ripping out something and play football with it because you like playing football with your friends." And then I was like, "Oh, does football exist in this universe? I don't know." Ben will have to say that.
I don't know, but I love improvising. Improv is kind of like my main thing as a performer. So the moment you tell me, "Oh, okay, so Kale's mad in this, and nobody's gonna hear it because I'm gonna muffle it, so just go off," I went off. Yeah.
Yeah, you also improvised actually at the start of the scene where with Dr. Saran where she's healing Kale because
Yeah.
that also fades in mid speech, so you also added some words at the start, I think. And then you talked about
Yes,
like
that was
Wi-Fi
obviously
and
not-
stuff.
Yeah, I was complaining about Wi-Fi, man, because that's something that's very easy to do.
Yeah.
I think all of us have had internet problems before.
Wi-Fi in the
so-
woods. Yeah.
I had that even with the stream, so there you go. You know, I had that right in my heart. But the thing that the fight made with Fida, that was extremely fun. So I appreciate you asked about that, Ben. I didn't even remember that I said that thing about the eyeballs. I didn't even remember. Huh.
Yeah, no, it was a great detail, and I was like, oh, I want to hear the rest of the line.
Yeah.
Oh, again, I definitely think that could be a thing for the bloopers.
Oh yeah, I can get it to you. Yeah.
Uncensored Kale.
Also, let's also have Oz have his turn of speaking before we get back to
Hi.
Ben, I guess. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm not sure what to say. Oh wow, I really don't know what to say.
And you can talk about the hot dogs
okay,
again.
so I do want to mention how emotionally like driven of a character Oz is. He's quite possibly like the biggest range I've been like allowed to play a character most of the time, right? Like I'm always kind of like typecasted as like oh, I'm the hero. I'm gonna save the day and stuff, and that's what I do, and that's all I do. And it's fun, but I never get to like, have any emotion that isn't just like, yeah, I'm the good guy. Like I'm still playing a good guy here, but Oz gives me the freedom that I would not have with any other role currently to do what
Nice.
I do, and it's really awesome seeing like his what's the word, like evolution as like the even as like just going from book to book, you can see just how much more like I don't know, like uncertain he is of his future. And I think it's really cool because he's contemplating a lot of things on top of, and we're cool to talk about spoilers, right? Because this is like after the episode.
At least up until chapter 3, yes, including chapter 3, you can talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, so then yeah, just, and I'm losing my train of thought here. Sorry, guys. I'm like a bullet, just kind of ricocheting everywhere. My brain's all over the place, but trust, it's
No worries.
it's so invigorating. Invigorating? I'm just gonna go with
Yeah.
I
invigorating.
think that's a word.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's a good word for it.
Playing Oz is cool, and the fact that like again like we share a name is also really cool because it just gives that little bit of an edge to the performance, I guess. Like when somebody refers to Oz's name in like the dub, and I hear it, and it's like, obviously I know it's not real, but say like I have it on like my second monitor, right? And it's like, what? Take out the headphones? Something like that. I don't know. I'm
That's
just kind of
great.
all over the place, but Oz is awesome, and it's a privilege to play such a cool character.
Oh, that's
like it.
awesome. Yeah. I'm also gonna say it's funny because you actually were the very first person to send in an audition for the dub in general, and it's just like, I guess a good omen to say that like the first person who like signs up for a role just has the name of the character. It's just really,
That's cool.
and it works out very well. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Cool.
I did say that in the text chat during the premiere, but like the whole chapter is basically just Oz very bad, no good day.
Yeah.
Just going through it so bad, and you gave that so much. You gave that so much heft. You really sold that so well. You really
God, he
feel that
reminds
just
me of-
constant bubbling rage and pain that he's going through. He sold that
He's
so
so
well.
angsty, dude. He's so angsty, and it's awesome because it feels like some kind of like Nightwing energy. Like I try to base a lot of
Oh, yeah.
my emotional stuff. Like I am a big fan of actors like Jonah Scott and their performance of like Dying Light 2. I know him as Aiden
Oh.
Caldwell and like Legoshi and Beastars. I love just the way he delivers his lines, how real he sounds and stuff. And so it's like I've been trying to incorporate that into like just the way I speak when like trying to be more like again invested in a character, because a lot of the time, right, it's just surface level like, oh, here, I play this guy, or it's like we need you to fill in like this generic sounding like goody two shoes character. It's like I can do that, but to play like somebody who's got baggage is awesome.
So many
Oh, baggage
possibilities,
is a
right?
good word for him.
Yeah, I mean, Ben,
Very
you
like
always.
2000s energy. I don't know. Like I like it, man. I've been missing that stuff. Like that was in the shows that I grew up watching.
Yeah.
I think, Ben, you always say like most of the characters in this comic have a lot of baggage in the end, right?
Yes.
Oh goodness, they do. Oh
Oh yeah.
goodness.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and
The
I
baggage.
don't know, and I don't know if you've actually like read the comic at all, which is by the way not like a requirement. Like, don't worry about it. But I think if you like doing range stuff with Oz, like there's a lot that it
Mm.
expands into in the second book.
Oh yeah.
What I've noticed is that Oz is a very like he's not as offensive as other like people in like his kind of like what's the term, archetype?
Yeah.
Archetype.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Oz's abilities are more like again camouflage or like it's not like bullet just a shield, right? It's got like the bubble thing. I'm sorry, I
Yeah, it's
know
like
it's
an
like
illusion field. It's fine.
my lack of lore knowledge is showing, but like I do read the books and stuff, like not just the script, but it's like I'll try to get a semblance, because again, when you're trying to get in character, right, and you don't know what's going on, that is really hard. So typically a director will like tell you, it's like, okay, so this is happening, we want you to give like this kind of energy, and then you just kind of like follow that. But the self-directing process, I'm used to that. I used to do like again lots of like comic dubs when I was 17, and so like having a self-direct is also a lot of fun. But again, Volt being there to always like constantly like remind us what's there, what's happening in the scene, what's like what would be more fitting for the scene. It's like it's all there. I love it.
I also got a comment from Orlando, who is actually the voice actor of C. He said, and it hurt me in my heart that C was responding to us in his emotional ice block way, at least partially. I guess, yeah, that was the
because it
point of
was
the
tough,
scene
'cause
where,
he
like,
couldn't say,
yeah.
he couldn't
Mhm.
tell Oz everything. That was clearly hurting him.
Yeah.
He was trying his little best.
Yeah.
I'm a
It was a
happy
super
guy, so
emotional
it's such
scene.
like a stark like difference, to just go from like 0 to 100 in a heartbeat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite stuff to voice, other than the stuff I already mentioned, which is the whole range of between like going silly, going like crazy, going intense, upset, everything. Like Kale has a huge range of emotions in that. That was such a huge privilege to have, just be able to go have fun with. But one of the favorite things for me is the final scene of the chapter, because it really just underlines why these three are such a great unit as friends. That they really talk to each other, that they really like, dealing with all their feelings about the everything. And you get the sense that even though they're all, flawed, messy teenagers, they're really, there's a bond there. And I think that's really, really lovely. I really enjoyed getting to give Kay a little more softness there, because after the day she had, that is what she needed. And it was so clear that that's what she needed.
Yeah. No, the bit at the end, like when they hug, was like really wonderfully performed by everybody involved.
Thank
Aw,
you. It's just nice when you get to think like, how would I feel after a day where just nothing's been going right, everything sucks, but at least I get to go home to people who are my home, like my people. That's that sense of like taking off all the weight of the day. That's what I imagine when I voice that, just how I feel when that happens to me. So I thankfully have not been in fist fights with giant bat creatures in midair, but still,
You haven't? Oh,
Oh. Wow.
No.
is that not normal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm boring.
Yeah.
That's why Kale's so much fun to voice. She has more exciting adventures than I do.
Speaking of giant bat creatures, we also got Kamal in the call, who's the voice actor of Fida. I'm not sure if he can unmute himself right now because he's taking care of some kids. Oh, hello.
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 How's it feel being a
Hey, guys.
giant bat creature?
This is such a weird thing for me because this project as a whole was the first thing I ever applied for as a voice actor at all. Because this was planned shortly after I saw a nice workshop I spotted Marten at a convention. And that was so much fun. I didn't get to apply in the workshop, right? Because there were like a limited number of space and I wanted to just do it afterwards, came to the Discord and then saw Supercell and I immediately read through the whole thing and liked pretty much all the characters. And then I started applying for kind of all the male characters in chapter 1 because while I haven't had much experience with voice acting in general, I do have a certain range provided to me by like 30 years of experience as a game master at this point. So you get through a few voices in that time. And I applied like for pretty much everybody and I was hopeful for multiple roles. And then shortly before the cutoff, I even looked at the female or more female roles and I just for funsies tried speaking Fida and it just sounded fun and then, you know what, never mind, just pull it in, no chance you'll get it, but apply for it. And turns out I actually got the role I didn't plan on getting, but it was still a lot of fun, especially because I could like push my voices more to the extremes in that regard. So talking that fight scene, a lot of enjoyment, especially because I just perceive her to be like this really dry professional for the most part, right? She just wants to get shit done and doesn't care for anything else. So when things go haywire, I just honestly, up to this point, my favorite line for first was shit.
Very good delivery.
I tried. Yeah, and just based on that, I just did the rest, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I'm also here not just because of this, because later on we might have a chance to talk about the special project that Voltaire was pointing about that I'm deeply involved with, but I would honestly put this onto a later part in the discussion.
Yeah, probably.
Before I try and think about this. Yeah.
Probably for the later part,
but yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, it's
You
also
did great.
have you. Yeah, and
Thank
you also
you.
reminded me we should maybe look into doing more of the FurryCon workshops again because it was like a lot of fun. I think you joined at EF, right? It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
at this
like
point.
3 years ago. Yeah, that was I think it was even the first time you did this workshop, right?
Yeah, I mean we only did it twice. I think we did it once at EF and I mean second time I don't remember. Awoostria,
Awoostria.
Yeah, we should do some more maybe. Maybe we can like look into doing it at NFC. I don't know, but yeah, we should do more. Maybe we'll find more awesome talents like Kamal, for example.
I mean, you did have a considerable influx after the EF one, right? I wasn't the only one spontaneously joining after you made the workshop.
A few of like the side characters were people that joined at EF as well. I think. Thinking like which ones. Well, I know one of the evil goon guys. Little spoiler, but one of the evil goon guys we see in chapter 4, I think he was also someone who joined from EF. But yeah, it's just really cool to get. Sorry.
Yeah, one more thing about Fida, because there was also quite the challenge, to be honest, because I had one voice line in chapter 1, which was just that amazing bone
I remember that.
scream at the start. I was like, yeah, so how do I go blah, right? That's actually terrifying. I remember like investigating like how they did the Godzilla screams, right? Like what kind of tricks they used, both in matters of how they actually how they voiced it and what kind of sound effects they used and what they laid over it. And in the end, they didn't actually use any animal sounds on top of it. This is literally just my scream with a lot of reverb on top and a few other
What?
tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the actual trick isn't that hard. It's just so super weird because you never in your life would naturally do this. It's literally something that anybody can do to a degree, but unless you're supposed to do it, you might go your whole 100 years in life and never do it, because you have to scream in reverse. You have to make the sound while pulling in air. That is what brings this very eerie, like,
Oh,
taste to it. Yeah.
I never
Again,
thought
that
of
was
it
a-
that way.
Yeah,
That's
no, it was
interesting.
that was literally the trick, right? Everything else just sounded like a human screaming. But if you do that, man, you go like full Zerg territory, basically. It's a lot of fun.
Dang.
You-
I didn't
you-
think about that because obviously I knew about the trick with crying versus laughing. Laughing is when when you do it outwards, and crying is when you do it inwards, right? When you with the direction of the ear that you're really putting the emphasis on. But this, I didn't think to apply this trick to screaming. That's so cool. I learned something today.
Yeah, I thought I'd throw that in because that was decently interesting.
Like you're activating your animal genes.
Hell yeah. I like that. Look at me, I'm a bird. I need to know all about screaming, so this is important news to me.
Also, Quasar in the chat says NFC definitely needs it, so maybe
Yeah, do it.
maybe we'll do a
Well, then
NFC.
warn me ahead of time when you're planning to try that, because then I can hopefully make it happen again to go to NFC
Well,
myself.
probably not this NFC because it's full as hell. And also Inventor over there, he's on the staff, so he's super busy during NFC. So
Yes, he's one of the documentary people, right? Photos and everything.
yeah, I think he's doing even more now, like lots of infrastructure,
dang.
right? Like he's got one of the media servers like at home stuff. So yeah, he's very involved. So we'll have to see if NFC is possible for us. But yeah, definitely at some con we should do it. Cool. So Ben, did you get a chance looking through the video and maybe got some more stuff you wanted to comment on?
Yeah, it was actually I just saw the thing with Frida and the gunshot. I didn't realize that was actually somebody doing that. I thought that was like a bird sound effect.
I take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Good.
Like I thought you were using like the stock sound effect for like that they always play for like bald eagles, but it's actually like a hawk or something.
It's a screaming. It's a screeching hawk. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think I worked with Kamal on that. I'm not entirely sure if he sent me the files, and the first thing I think was a little bit clipped because he screamed into the mic.
That is the trouble with Mac setup at that point in time. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's usually a problem if you are too close or too loud. Then your microphone will clip. But we managed, and I think I'm not quite sure. I think I doubled his voice and put it an octave lower or something in the background.
Yeah.
To give it a little bit more volume.
Also, I think we're talking about two different things now, because I think what you and Kamal are talking about is in chapter 1.
Yeah.
And I think Ben meant chapter 3 scream, and I'm not sure if that might have been a sound effect, but I'm not 100% sure right now.
Then maybe you're overlapping.
It's like where Frida like jumps down to like get to Fallon, right? What's the one? I'm not sure now.
But you are very capable of doing excellent screeches. This has been established.
That's definitely established. Yeah.
It was a good screech. I'm going through the musical bit that plays when Crown is telling Fallon, "Hey, you're about to get arrested. Don't resist." It's good.
Yeah.
It's a variation of we had in chapter 2 when Crown and Fallon were having their discussion in Crown's office. We had this like music that was with Crown.
Yeah, it's like Crown's feet.
It was like a little bit, acoustic guitar and harpsichord, mellow background music, and that was a variation of that. We tried to establish sort of themes for the characters as the chapters progress, and if we can reuse something or make a variation of that, then that's what we are going for. And that was a variation of the same piece of music that we had in chapter 2.
yeah, Crown got like the mafia boss
Yeah,
feeling, because I think that's the vibe he gives off, and I think it's also kind of true. Like from whatever we learn about Crown, he seems to be like the mafia boss kind of type, right? I mean,
Very
I'm
much
not.
a schemer, you know. A
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of
that's for
scheming.
sure.
So much scheming.
Oh, that's
a
for
lot
sure.
of it.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for not. This would have been like the most stereotypical thing ever. And it's not that it would have annoyed me, but I would have just been like, about it. When Fallon whispers into Kale's ear, like, you're the project Supercell or whatever. Like, I'm so glad that you didn't put like a big musical, jingle in there. It's like,
A
oh, the
sting. You mean like
title
a sting?
drop.
Yeah.
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 Usually
It's like,
we
it's not supposed to be like, oh, name drop. It's just like a line that he's saying. So thank you for not
yeah.
like treating it big.
Yeah.
Usually when once the whole voice acting and the cut of the project is done, we get together and we watch it, and then we write down at which parts we feel like that could use some music. Sometimes then when we are
for
actually
music sound, yeah,
yeah
actually fitting, right?
right when and then we write that down and our ideas, what that could be and what that could feel like. And then when we get to actually make the music, some of it we figure out doesn't work. We throw it out. For example, we had a lot of music planned for the chapter where the hospital scene where Tani heals Kale. But then we figured out it doesn't need anything really, because we wanted to do a theme for Tani Hal, like a little bit of Asian, Hawaiian vibe that he gives off. But that really didn't work, so we threw it out again. That's about the process we're going through, from watching the whole thing, then figuring out where we make music, and then throwing out stuff again. And we
Did
try.
you still keep that piece around for potential later use?
Yeah, I was gonna say, or sometimes we use stuff we figure out, oh, it doesn't fit to this scene, but we keep it for later.
Yeah,
Like I remember you did like a piece for like the end of chapter 2, where like Elle and Kale are talking to each other, and Elle is like scolding Kale, and Kale's like breaking
Yes.
down. You made like a musical piece, but it didn't like at least from my point of view, it didn't like feel like right, because it felt more like imperial and epic.
Yeah, and that's
And
the piece
then-
then we ended up taking for the desert scenes.
Yeah, so actually the theme that's now playing when Desert is on screen actually was like meant for Elle or something at the end, but it didn't really fit. So yeah, sometimes we use stuff for
cool.
other parts.
It
so.
wasn't exactly the same. It was the melody was the same, but then it felt really a little bit too sinister. And I said, well, let's keep it. It's not so bad. And then I just tried it with the scene with Desert, and added those throat singing layers, and it fit.
Oh yeah.
See, there's no mistakes, just happy accidents.
Right.
If you have a
Exactly.
music piece that doesn't work, you use it later.
Yeah,
It's
Exactly.
salvaging.
And also
Yeah.
you can, and also while we go along with the chapters and make more and more music, we also get more and more building blocks we can just reuse. Like for example, with the scene in this chapter with like where like again Tasha and Miss Bilish talk to each other, and they're like all lovey-dovey and stuff. Just we're able to just reuse that thing and put it there, and it's fun. And I think sometimes we had like really funny moments where we were like, okay, we want music here, maybe let's just try reusing something we used before, and we put it there, and the timing is like perfect.
Yeah.
It's like I think it was sometime in chapter 2 where it's like some like emotional beat happens and the music just fits perfectly, and we were like,
Yeah.
okay, we're done, next scene.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really cool. But yeah, speaking of that, like speeding up production, actually just figured out that chapter 4 yesterday I hit like 50% with the editing for chapter 4. So like after taking 8 months for chapter 3, now for chapter 4 we are already like really far ahead. So we might actually be able to
Yay.
release that in, I don't know, 3 months
Oh, wow.
maybe.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Let's see.
The music is always the one of the longer taking parts because
Yeah.
we only really started once everything else is done.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see about that, but probably, well, it's definitely going to be much faster than chapter 3.
Should be, yes.
Yeah, it's also shorter, probably like 40 minutes max. So yeah, chapter 3 is definitely the longest one of all the chapters that are out so far. So yeah, so
Ben,
think should be.
you went hog wild with that chapter. Goodness gracious.
oh yeah.
Wow.
Gonna get.
Wait till later.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
And
So
in
chapter 10
terms
is
of
2
length,
hours.
I've read the comic. I know how
Oh,
crazy
okay.
it gets in terms of content.
Oh
But
yeah.
in terms of length,
Yeah, so you may have noticed if you've looked at like the comics website, but so originally book 2 was also going to be just 3 chapters, and it ended up like being split into like 5. So potentially those chapters were going to be a lot longer. And I was just like, you know what? No, for pacing, I need to split this into smaller chunks. So I don't know if there's ever going to be a chapter quite as long as chapter 3. But certainly the books do, book 2 is like 100 pages longer than book 3. So, I mean, book 1.
Yeah. I put
And
book
book
2.
3 I'm currently working
excited.
on, and pages will start
Oh.
coming out soon.
Oh yeah, I
Speaking
can't
of
wait.
guys,
It's like ending on such a cliffhanger. It's like,
Yeah.
and like some of the scenes are so cool and epic. I can't wait to see what we can put together for
Yes.
those. Like
That's
especially
a
some of
fun
the
thing
fights.
when you have the great pleasure of working on such a very rigorously made dub by people who are really passionate about it. You read the comic because it's a fandom, we're still fans, so you just read and you're like, oh, I get to voice this later. Oh, that's so cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I feel. Again, having the great honor and privilege of getting to voice Kale means there's just so many bits where I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, you go, girl. I'll voice this later. This is gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, for me,
Nice.
it was the same as for Kamal. It's this is my first voice acting gig. Never have done anything like that before, and for me, it's a progress. Every chapter I try to. So far, Crown was more like the grumpy and strict and angry dude. But as the chapters progress, I try to inject a little bit more humanity into him because apparently he really cares about Kale.
Made a mistake.
Don't make mistakes, please.
He
Did-
does care.
Your crown voice was so insane when I heard it, right? I did my own crown. I know that my voice was too high for this anyway, right? But I still tried because it was fun. And I was just like, wait, why does he like 7 octaves lower than me with no effort? This shouldn't be possible. How is that fair?
No. It's
Yeah.
it's
No, that's how it felt, man. That
But,
was
like-
amazing.
I'm gonna say like when we were looking for like the main characters' voices at the beginning, I was like, oh my god, finding a really good voice for Crown is gonna be so hard, and then he just comes along and is like, oh my god, what's happening? It's so good. It's like that's just Crown, It's really imposing.
Strict-
Yeah.
I particularly like the part for Crown where you're just like he just really like in German we'd say zusammenfalten when you're just like really like scolding somebody so hard you're just
Yeah.
destroying their entire career. when he does the zusammenfalten of
Oh yeah, we're gonna get some of
you know,
that.
he shows up. He's already worried about her, but his way of showing that is yelling at her. Unfortunately, it's
Yeah.
So he just because he was extra worried, he extra scolds. That you sold that so well, Azrael. I felt like him just watching it, not being literally Kale, just being figuratively being Kale. I still felt like like a kid, like ugh.
well,
I think in chapter 5 there's a really good scene
yeah.
where he does that.
I'm looking forward to that one.
That's gonna be really fun.
Oh god.
Both
it's gonna be
voice
like
acting wise and music
Dad!
wise, it's gonna be
Oh
it's
yeah.
gonna be fun. I think.
Dad!
Oh, yeah.
Ah!
Also, the reason why I wrote length in the chat right now, I was gonna make notes about what I want to talk about, and I didn't know it sends when I press enter. So yeah, that's why that is there. But yeah, I wanted to also take a little thing because I mentioned like, oh, it took eight months for this chapter. And one reason for that, what extended is because Ben, like in the middle when we were recording stuff, he decided to, let's do like a whole rework of the language thing in the comic. The very thing like Perry explained at the start of the video, where it's like, now because it was always like a thing in the lore that the characters talked two different languages, like Tepnem Row and Colsney, right? Yeah, and also later there's a third language that shows up actually, because Tani Hal is like from a different country again with different language that also shows up. But yeah, it wasn't a thing as you saw in the first 2 chapters, and like in the middle of production of chapter 3 it also wasn't a thing, but then Ben was like, oh, let's drop the full language rework, remove all the boy and stuff like that, all the gendered language, especially from the Roman language, and then we were like, now we need to record a bunch of stuff. So I mean, yeah, that's not complaining. It's a cool addition to the whole thing to really make it clear when characters switching between languages and stuff, because obviously there's like a cultural thing that really helps establish the lore, and it's good that we see that that's happening, because otherwise if everything's translated to English, that's like something that gets lost, and that's a new thing. But yeah, we had to re-record a bunch of stuff because of that. But yeah, we still got it over the finish line. So
It's just that's...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead. It's you
Okay.
after all.
I actually have a question about this in particular, because I saw that all speaking what I assume is a conlang, right? Can I ask, to what degree did you develop this conlang? Was it just for the lines, or did you just like build like a grammar underneath or something? To what degree is it like really fleshed out?
So I do have like a very basic grammar structure for the stuff that I've needed. Like it's not a fully fleshed out language, either of them, in so much as like you could actually sit down and learn them. Like anytime I need to translate something, and there's going to be a lot more of that in book 3. It's like, okay, do I have the grammar rules set for this? I do. Okay, and then it's just a matter of like coming up with the vocabulary for it. So they are functional, even though I keep making revisions, because I am very revision prone. Because when I did those dialogue updates of the comic, it wasn't just dialogue. I also redrew a ton of the art.
Hashtag
It's just my
Kale
thing, I guess. Yeah. So the conlangs are fleshed out enough to where they are actually functional. They do grammatically make sense, and they do have like their own like sentence structure and stuff. It's just they're missing a ton of like vocabulary. Like the dictionaries don't exist.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's because it would be so much work, right? But it's
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't know that this was an actual conlang behind it, because I was. This is always like a hard trade-off to make, right? You don't want to go full Tolkien on this and just create 5 languages before you start working on a story, because otherwise you'll never be done with anything,
Yeah.
right? But just going only with basically a phonetic schema, right, and making random sounds with it is always a bit dangerous, right? It quickly feels not right. So doing at least a basic grammar and an actual vocabulary that's extending beneath it, I think that's a nice idea.
Yeah, it's the languages are constructed enough to where if I need to write something in those languages, I can just like make up the vocabulary and do translations. But I'm not gonna sit down and do like here's a fully translated version of the comic for fun. Like, nah, that's too much work.
Yeah, exactly.
We would need to
Still-
voice that on too.
Yeah, I mean, we did voice some of the conlang in chapter 2. Because in chapter 2 there was like there's like the one scene where they specifically talk Tepnem Row to like so that Bilish can't understand it. So yeah, we actually did voice.
Yes, and
Also, wasn't Oz
talks in it.
flirting?
Yes, that was.
Yep.
The
But
Kale-
that got added after we did the thing, right? Oh no, it was.
No, that
I
wasn't
think it
there.
got changed, but it was there still. Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't there.
Sorry, Perry.
No, it was no, but I was just getting at is that Tolkien was a linguistics professor, so for him making up 5 different languages was probably just honestly part of the fun. Nobody
Yeah.
else needs to hold themselves to that standard if they're not linguistics
No,
professors.
it was more than fun. The really tragic thing here is, or the most ironic thing about this is that at this point, if you look really into like deep Tolkien, the whole Middle Earth, the whole basics of what is now classic fantasy has just been advertisement to get his languages out there, right? He just wanted like a vessel to show people his language, because when he built the languages, nobody was interested. Yeah, okay, congratulations, you have a bunch of fake languages that nobody knows, right? And he just wrote something where you could use it. At this point, it's basically advertisement, but very popular advertisement.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. That's a special kind of guy. That's a specific type of person to be, and most people aren't that, and that is fine. I did enjoy the clarification for the languages, but it was definitely interesting to see that kind of like, because it shows that's just kind of what you deal with when you make a fan project. You are not and you're not directly being asked first, because we're not in a contractual situation. We get just shown here. This is a comic. This is a comic you like. You want to.
1 second, I have to interrupt you guys because we have our animator over here and he's about to leave actually. So let's let him say a few words before he's going.
Absolutely. I was just saying, I like that we're in direct conversation.
Hi.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm jumping in real quick and disrupting the flow because I need to go because I need to wake up very early tomorrow. But I just wanted to jump in and say hi to everyone involved, and it's nice to kind of meet you, I guess. So I did the intro animation, like the title.
It's very
sequence.
pretty.
Thank you.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and I also have to congratulate everyone involved about how great of a job they're doing, and it comes out really great. Like it all comes together very, very nicely. And also Oz, I have to say your performance is great, and also you kind of remind me, I don't know if it's weird, you remind me of the voice actor who plays Mark in Invincible for some reason.
Steven Yeun. Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah, I bet,
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Oh,
like when you
yeah.
were getting like the emotional scene, I was like kind of imagining like Steven Yeun getting like riled up at his dad, you know, for some reason. I don't know. I made that mental connection.
You guys are so nice. Sorry, I've been having so much like imposter syndrome as of recent and stuff. You know, just
You don't have to,
No,
but
no,
I mean,
no.
I get it. I've had that for quite a long time too, and that's only natural.
thank you.
Sadly,
Seriously.
So I guess that's it from me because I need to go now. So just went here to say hi and thank you for all you guys are doing.
And we'll see a big animation from you a bit later.
Oh yeah, there's something coming up, so stay tuned. Don't leave the stream.
Oh shoot.
Afraid?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks. Oh no.
Yep.
He's like flopped off the stage. All right. Excited. Okay, you can keep going with whatever I interrupted you.
No, I was just saying I really enjoy that, the fact that this is kind of like free flow, since Ben does these things free flow. We kind of do it free flow, We're in direct conversation with the work as it is made, as it keeps changing. I just think that's cool. That's really all of it.
It's funny because there are the points. One, there's a couple of things that are like weird, unexpected perks. Like sometimes, Voltaire has messaged me like, "Hey, you have typos on this page and this page," and I'm like, "Oh, let me fix that."
I'm so sorry that I am often the person who notices those too.
No, that's good though, because I
sorry.
like fixing things. But I do also feel a little bit bad when it's like, we just finished recording all the voice lines, and I'm like, oh man, I just changed so much dialogue.
Well-
Okay, that's what we signed up for. Again, it's a conversation. And I think
But-
I think it's even nice that we can contribute to the actual comic in some way, and if it's quote unquote just fixing typos, it's so nice.
What's really funny is also because I like read the whole comic obviously like a million times while editing everything and stuff. So like every line gets like so ingrained in my head. Then when Ben like dropped the change of the whole comic, I literally just read through it once, and every change I instantly noticed and noted it down. So I just like went through it once, noted all the changes, and then I was like, okay, now we already have the list of what we need to change. So at least that's good. So it wasn't like that big of a deal to like not notice something. I think there was 1 or 2 lines I didn't notice, but yeah, that was where like, okay, whatever.
I did see a couple of lines because I was reading along as the lines were being spoken. There were definitely a couple of lines that were not re-recorded, but like it's fine because they were mostly the same.
Yeah, I noticed
it's
there
like-
was a thing where Kale now says, "Oh crap!" I said, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
I don't know why I
Yeah.
said, "Oh boy," but I said, "Oh boy."
And that's
I'm very
completely
sorry.
fine. The ones that I just kind of felt bad about were Let's see, there's the moment where when Kale threatens Oz because he's not going to talk to Z about his insecurities or whatever, and like that scene read very differently originally. It was just like, haha, go talk to him or I'll beat you or whatever. And now it's like kind of a flirting scene, and it's like just completely changed the vibe of the whole exchange.
Oh yeah, but it's a fun vibe. So I think both versions have their merit, if that helps. I will say something I noticed, and again, this is such an easy mistake to make, but it's like for me when I read the lines, it's because I often see them for the first time in months. I've read the comic in its entirety, and I update myself every like month or so because I like reading in bursts. So when I see something that's been out for a while, I'm like, okay, I'll wait a little bit and then I'll treat myself, to an evening of Supercell and maybe some wine or something. No, I don't drink wine, but it sounds cool. So it's interesting when I still notice, like, oh, I read this like twice already. Why did I not notice that this changed or that this is different than I remember it? It's interesting. It's really just interesting about the way that the brain refills things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that's cool. So I'm always glad when we notice something that we can actually help you with. And in turn, you tell us, hey, I changed something that's even better now. And it's like, cool.
And there was that one scene where Brown has this phone call with Alan when he's incarcerated, and there was this change from "You're my only son" to "You're my scion."
Yeah.
I felt that that was one of the lines that I read for the audition back then, and I felt like, okay, now it feels a little bit more impersonal now. Because
bit
when
more haughty too. A scion is a fancy word, it feels a bit more.
Yeah, but I remember in the audition I put a lot of pain into that because I thought it pains him to have to capture his only son, and then there was that rewrite, and I thought, oh man, why?
Yeah, that was basically just an effort to when I was doing dialogue updates, I was like, I need to catch like anything that's like particularly gendered that I'm trying to degender, and that was one of the ones that came up. I didn't notice that I missed a few, but whatever. Maybe I'll update them one day. I'm not in a hurry to do it.
But in that case, I think he said it in the Castilian language, right? So in that case, wouldn't it still make sense to say son? I mean, I'm not sure how it is.
What's that? Let me check.
Because he says scion, but then he says father. So it's like,
yeah, true.
Right. Yeah, no, they're speaking Templin Row, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's impossible. So one thing that I did notice while doing these dialogue updates is that when everybody is exclusively talking in they-thems, it gets a little weird.
Yeah.
It's just like, wait, which they are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be very precise with who is talking about what.
Yeah.
But again, so I really enjoy that we get to be at least a little small part of the process. Similarly, we do the Ask blog things as well as little clips in between. Makes for extra little shorts.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun, and they let us also just kind of like play a little bit with concepts that either have not shown up in the comic yet or might never, and we can still just play with them. That's always nice.
What? Brazilian hot dogs are not gonna show up in the comic? Sorry.
What's that?
Brazilian hot dogs are not gonna show up in the comic?
No, unfortunately.
Chapter 25.
I do actually have a favorite of the Ass Dubs. It's the one where Oz puts on the boxing outfit. And he's like, oh, I know who this is for. And it's like the very last bit when you're like, if that's what you're into. It's like the way you read that, it's like, oh my god, that's perfect.
Oh my! Can we swear? Can we swear? Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
I guess
I
so.
don't know. Actually, it's your channel.
Sure.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
We're European. We're used to swearing.
Yeah.
Very.
We'll live on that.
About it.
Okay, that one was that one was kind of fucking awesome. Okay, so like how I do it, right? Because I can't normally hit that unless if like I've either just woken up or sometimes I call it like revving the engine, right? So it's like it's like Mongolian. And eventually, right, it's lower and lower and lower, and I just keep doing it. It's like revving a motorcycle, like I'm sorry.
That's so cool.
But it's weird, man. The stuff that like voice actors do to get into character, because it's like, again, I struggle to play like the like I get cast for like older teenagers or like 20 somethings, right? Never really like that kind of like sexy kind of voice. Never would I've ever thought of like, you know, pulling something like that off. But again, I rev the engine and there we go.
Yeah, no, it was like it's perfect because that is the character. Like it was absolutely perfect.
I wish I learned how to do it sooner when when he was flirting, because you know, it's kind of like awkward hearing myself just go like, oh yeah, like we're like
I
totally
bet.
dating, me and this like snake lady. Yeah.
Don't worry, there'll be plenty of opportunities in book 3.
That's
Yeah, you were
You
were
guys are
flirting with
great.
that. It was a bird woman, by the way. It was a bird person.
Oh,
Yeah.
everybody's like a hybrid in the show. Sorry, I'm like getting things mixed up.
I know,
If-
but just saying.
if
It was
it
a
makes you feel
bird. I remember
better-
birds.
Yeah, it was a
If it
bird.
makes you feel better, it's like a lot of them.
I like that. No one looks the same. No one ever looks the same. You can always tell who from who.
Yeah, that's
It
like
makes
so.
character design like easier, except for when I have to just invent things on the fly.
Is it liberating?
In some ways, sometimes I just draw like a taco with legs and just leave it at that.
I mean,
That's
that's
also
still it's still one of the
Which
favorite
character is the
things.
taco with legs?
That's still one of the favorite things to me about the comic, and I think like one of the main things where I really got into it and really wanted to do
Yeah,
something with it
character
because
design.
the super diverse character designs, everyone just looks different because sometimes with some artists you have the phrase same face syndrome, where like all the characters look kind of similar, right? But here it's like the opposite, like everyone looks completely different, and that's something I really like. Like for example, the like one of the security guards taking Oz away was just like a cat with like tentacle face, like a cat face, but it's like 8 tentacles all with like fur like a cat. It's like
I think that's
So
one of the
cool.
reasons why Crown does have so much money, because he has to make clothes for everyone.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
especially tailored.
yeah, that's actually one of the lore pieces. Yeah, it's like super cool actually
Nice.
because and also
That
how
actually
you
is- that actually-
Taylor in this universe. That's all commission work.
and
Yeah.
also
that
how
is
you
actually part of the lore, yes.
and also you think about how like all the stuff has to be designed around the school, where you like have the big doors and then there's the small doors in the big doors, so like people who are smaller can use the small door, but if someone big shows up they can just use the big door instead, right? Stuff like that, and it's cool how you think
Yes.
about it, and also how like all the bathrooms there and everything is like really big because so to accommodate big people, and then the small people are like, yay, I got all this big stuff because big people exist. But then I thought about, but it would be more efficient if the school just had like different classes of like room sizes, where it's like, oh, this is a room for big people, this is a room for small people, and if you're small, you get the small people room, and if you're big, you get the big people room. I guess that would be spatially efficient, but that's like now me with the lore nerd coming out and complaining about things that might be different, man. You know?
The version of that is actually extremely difficult, only because I never remember to do it. Like I remember it sometimes and then I forget. Is stairs, because I actually do have like a visual concept of like anytime you find stairs, they're really wide, and then there's 3 sets of like sizes of steps. There's like really deep steps. There's steps that are like really like short and tiny, so they're more like a ramp almost. But anytime there's stairs, I just completely forget about that, and I just draw normal stairs. It's like
Does anyone else remember?
feature art update. Go ahead.
That's
Ooh.
fair.
Does anyone else remember that reference to the Amazing World of Gumball? There were 2 characters that looked like Darwin and Gumball, and I thought that was really cool.
Yes.
Everyone
That was
points
the one
those
I'm
out.
pretty sure.
Sorry, still on the
That was
topic of
great.
those like liberating designs and
Oh,
having
yeah.
so much freedom.
That's true.
Yeah.
Gumball is a show full of very various designs, so that kind of makes sense, honestly. It fits
It's
Supercell, which
perfect.
has
That is actually
excellent
true.
character design, very diverse
no.
character design.
Though Gumball tries to at least still have kind of species. I mean, the species don't make sense in Gumball, right? But the families kind of are all the same species type. Here, it's like there's like no genealogy involved, which gives you even more freedom. But I can also believe that it's exhausting if you have to just get a few whatever, like minor characters out of the way, and you can't even rely on any design to be with. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to be drawing crowd shots soon.
Ooh.
Oh God, yeah, that might be hard.
Yeah, there are when shit hits the fan, I am definitely gonna have to be drawing like scenes with like dozens of characters running around and engaging in violence. I'll say that like that.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's
Engaging in
building to
violence.
that.
Oh no, there's violence in this. And my
Not in
Christian
my-
Supercell.
Oh no.
I
Ray's
say
asked me
us,
to
we
move
just
a
had a
bit,
chapter
so
of Kale getting bloodied.
it looks like I have a
Bloodied and
tail.
bruised.
Is that over here? That's Belfry's tail right here.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of, that was actually the most prominent art update. Like, because I don't think the last time, like when you guys published chapter 2, Kale didn't have a tail yet, right?
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah.
And now tail exists. It's like here
What
now.
made you decide on the tail thing? I'm curious.
So years ago, I don't remember specifically when, somebody actually suggested it just kind of as a joke. It's like, hey, why don't you draw a tail with a kale? I mean, a kale with a tail. And and I think they were proposing like, oh, oh gosh, my brain. Kale would have like a big fluffy tail or something, and I was like no, it would just look like one of the ears. And so I drew, the very first image. I'm sure I have it somewhere. It's just like Kale is standing on like a beam, and then there's like the third, new tentacles just kind of like sticking out the bottom. And I remember really, really liking that. And I had this like immediate regret of like, ah man, I wish I had included that. Um, and that was way back at like the beginning of book 2 when I encountered that, and I was just like, oh man, I wish I thought of that when I first started the comic, and I was considering doing the art update then. And then I was discouraged by someone else because it's like, do you really want to sit down and redraw like 300 pages of Kale with a tail? And it was like, yeah, you're right, that's too much effort. Cut to like, fast forward to earlier this year, and I was just like, worth it though. I just kind of
Yeah.
went for it.
Also, I gotta say, you
It's worth
you,
it.
you
I'm a
didn't
lot
even
happier with that design.
you didn't even like first of all you added the tail to every single panel, but then again you didn't just add the tail and it's like flopping or whatever, but you actually like integrated it into like what she's doing, like she's really emoting with her ears a lot, and you really integrated that as well. Like the one thing I really noticed
Yeah.
was like when in the scene where she's in chapter 3 where she's like hobbling after the fight and hobbling through the thing, you actually made it so that she uses her tail as like a brace to hold her leg up and stuff like that, and it's
Yeah.
like
I saw
like you
that,
really
and I was
really
like,
integrated
"That
it
is
well
so
in every
smart."
single frame. It's like insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so smart. I love that.
So cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a very fun design addition that I encountered completely by accident early on. Then I was just like, I really want it. And then, earlier this year, people were like, hey, if you really want to do it, why not? Like, it's gonna make you happy. And I was like, you're right.
Yeah,
And I
who's
am
the
happy.
boss of
I
you?
do
You
love.
are the boss of you. You can
Yeah,
decide.
exactly.
If it sparks joy,
Exactly.
it sparks joy. Yeah.
And it has had a couple of side effects. One is less people immediately make the assumption that Kill is a bunny, which used to happen nonstop. And also now like depending on what kind of poses I draw, like people ask me if it's a reference to like a Monkey King, and so I was like, oh, okay, so we moved away from bunny and more to like, I don't know, like more Dragon Ball, I guess.
Yeah, but people always think of something.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not complaining. It's not like a problem. It's an observation that I have made.
I believe it.
It's just the bunny thing has always been funny to me because like the only trait is like, oh, long ears. It's like, have you seen her teeth though?
Interesting. Wait, that is
What? A bunny assumption?
no.
Yeah.
Didn't really. Interesting.
I love the picture
See-
that Ben posted at some point from like a goat, I think, with also like really long ears. I'm not sure if that was real or some edited picture, but he also was like, "Oh, people see this goat and it has long ears, so it must be a bunny." I remember that picture that you posted.
I vaguely remember that.
See, meanwhile, to me, I don't know how many people here also grew up reading a lot of Franco-Belgian comics, but being European and my parents loving comics, that was a lot of what I was exposed to. And one of the comics I liked a lot as a kid was the Marsupilami, which I don't know if that rings a bell for anybody, but that's
Oh.
a comic series about a strange creature with a really long tail. It's yellow. It has like little small floppy ears. It has lots of spots and stuff. It's just a fantasy creature. So to me, you show me kale, you show me Marsupilami in principle. I'm like, yeah, of course. And animals don't always have to be the animal. They can just be a creature. It's unspecified. Like the Marsupilami, like one of the running gags is whenever humans encounter the Marsupilami, they don't know what it is either. And nobody will ever know. And I love that. So
Yeah,
to me, kale
when I was a
it's just
kid, I
kale.
thought it was a cheetah.
Oh, that's one hell of a cheetah.
It got the
Yeah.
spots, right? Yeah. So.
No, but you can't complain about people thinking kale is a bunny and think the Marsupilami is a cheater, man.
Yeah. It's like a monkey cheetah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But you see what I mean? Like creature is allowed to be its own category.
Yes.
And kale is an extremely excellent creature. So
By the way, Inventor, do you
Yes,
still want to say some
I'll be
words
out of it for
sometime?
like 30 minutes, bringing my children to bed. I'll be back afterwards.
yeah, no problem. I'm
Good
gonna
luck.
have to go soon anyway. I'm just have a question. Should I still be around for that special thing you're gonna talk about?
I mean, if you have time, sure, that'd be cool. But
I'm more just asking if my boss here thinks that's something I should stick around for.
I mean, sure. I mean, I won't like force you to be here if you don't want to. It's like
No, I'm more just asking, like, how important am I for a said thing?
it's
at
not
this point in
super
time? I think I should
essential
be here.
because you're not involved yet. I mean, maybe if you
That's the
wanna
thing, right?
voice act for a character that's gonna appear,
that
maybe. But
could still happen. Yes.
yeah, but right now it's
No,
not
I
super
want
important.
to. Is the sky blue?
Exactly.
You do
Yeah.
not have to worry about my desire.
So it's not mandatory. Yeah,
No,
if you need to go. So.
No, in that case, then I think I'll take the opportunity to go now. Not because I don't like hang out, quite the opposite, but more because it's already 8 and I should definitely get some dinner. I am extremely hungry, so I
get
will
some food.
think my husband's invitation for a lovely dinner out sounds really good.
Oh yeah,
So
I'm
thank
looking
you
forward.
very, very much that
Sorry.
I get to be in this, and especially I get to have such a big cool role of such a fun character. Ben, I always know, this is always a thing that's the back of my mind since I was talked about imposter syndrome earlier. It's especially for me when it comes to like being, like you draw Kale all the time. She's kind of like, not saying this is a creepy way, but she's kind of like your creation, your thing, your baby in some ways. So to me, when I get to be tasked with, oh yeah, you voiced this character now, and I know that what I do is just my interpretation of it. I can never match 100% what Kale sounds like to you. So it's always my nerves is like, oh, I hope this still fits the vision in some way, that it's not, just, oh yeah, I would have not done that at all. Puh. That's always
God,
my
right?
worry. That's my imposter syndrome. Does the creator like it? Am I at least adequate? I don't know. So I'm very privileged that I get to do this.
It's fine. Like my priority is honestly that y'all are having fun, and I opened with that right away about stuff like, I remember being asked about like, hey, how are all the things pronounced, right? Like all the character names and stuff, and I didn't want to like be like particularly strict about it because it's just like it's not like I'm giving people a pronunciation guide with the comic. Like sure, the conlang is fun or whatever when I'm writing it, but mostly I just want people to kind of like get from the comic what they get from the comic. So when we talk about like the countries, right? So like I say Castina, but I noticed I think it was Loxin who was saying Castina, and it's like that's fine. Like that's not an issue, because like that's when that person read, and I'm sorry I didn't grab the name of whoever was voicing Loxin.
Rebecca. Like, or
Yeah,
little-
Rebecca, when she was reading Loxon and voicing that, and in her mind she was like, "Oh, Castina," I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." Like, I'm not here to be like a jerk and be like, "No, it's this way." Like, as long as you're having fun and getting something, that's
Yeah.
like meaningful for you out of it, like that makes me happy. So.
Actually, what we tried to do was whenever a noun was Castilian, we wanted to make it so okay, when it's Castilian, then it's pronounced like an English speaker would pronounce it, or like an English-fied thing. And whenever something is from Ronom, we want to make it so it's like more like Germanic, like a German speaker would pronounce it. So that's actually we really looked into that and made sure everyone pronounces the same word the same way, and we kind of tried to do that to like really separate the thing a bit.
Yeah, we have an internal pronunciation guide.
Yes, and somehow all the files got
Oh,
lost actually.
wow.
So I'm happy
Yeah, we
that
really try to
those
keep
are-
this
yeah.
consistent. This was a struggle mainly when I had to say Fotzev Stats.
Yeah.
Again, I stumbled
Yeah.
again. Fotzev Statska. Jesus Christ.
How did you
Every
come up
time,
with that
every
name?
time.
Did you fall asleep on your keyboard? Or how did that come about?
No, I before Conlang, the characters had names based on like real life things as placeholders, because I knew that I wanted to do Conlang, but I didn't know what I wanted to do yet. So I was just like, well, this character is going to be named this character is going to be named this, just like as temporary placeholders, and thoughts of based on her whole vibe, like, being this like ruthless, brutal spec ops, murder machine. Her placeholder name was Spetsnaz, named after the Russian. Yeah. And so when I was doing Conlang, it was like, I do like the sound of Spetsnaz. How do I retain that and turn it into like a name in this like language that I make? And so I could have probably come up with something a little bit easier to pronounce, but like it sounds similar, and it was just like, hell yeah. So that's where that comes from.
See, and I cursed that name under my breath every time, because as you see, I've said it numerous times. I say it correctly in the comic, but you didn't hear all the many times in the outtakes where I say this wrong. So I didn't curse the person, don't worry. But I was like,
At least it
why?
didn't.
So
At least it didn't get Shrenokok Rectamid.
Shrenokok rectum.
I
That's easy. I
think
don't know. I
that's-
think Shrenokok is easy.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
say
That's
I
good.
can't say Potsdam for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thoughts?
It's just
I
my
have I have
my
been
tongue says
trying.
no.
I have been trying to make newer names easier to read and pronounce.
Well, you don't have to do it on our account, as you can see. It's just a challenge, It's a voice actor's
I
challenge.
think it benefits the audience in general if I go out of my way to make things easier to read, because it makes it easier to remember
Fair
too.
enough. Fair enough. But I will say again, I curse it, but then I'm also glad I get to at least really practice my enunciation. So there you go. But yes,
Cursing is
I will say
okay.
goodbye.
Listen,
All right. Say hi to your
those of you who have
husband for
read the
me.
comic. Yeah. Real quick, I just wanted to say that, like, if you've read the comic, you know that Kale gets the first F-bomb, right? So.
Oh yes.
So like cursing is fine. There's gonna be a lot more of it over time. So.
No, don't worry. I
Good.
don't feel bad about it. I'm more just in general trying to be more diverse in how I express myself.
Right.
But no, thank you very much again that I get to be a part of this, that I get to be again your main character, your mascot, and that I get to do my interpretation of it. That is a great joy and a great pleasure every time. So thank you very much, Ben, for making an awesome comic. Keep doing it. And thank you
Glad you're
everyone for
enjoying
the
it.
Spotted Martin team for being so excellent. And
Thanks,
thank you
yeah.
for the audience. for
Say hi to your
watching and
husband from
supporting
me.
us every time.
I know he likes Supercell a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing his reaction to Chapter 3 talking about it.
My husband, my dog husband, he is very fond. So I will let him. There he is. He says hi in the chat. So thank you
Hey.
very much again. The whole team is excellent, and I know that special project coming up being mentioned is really freaking cool. So y'all talk about that in a bit. You hear?
Yes.
Take care, everybody. Stay awesome.
Bye, Perry.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, there she goes. And I guess we should also take down this thing here. Otherwise, we have Ghost Perry. Oh yeah, in winter, I wanted to ask if you want to say anything as well, because he's inventor over here has been behind the stage all the time. He also set up all the light for the camera right there, and everything. So we've been like up a few hours today just setting up all the tech, so the live stream is working, like the mic and everything. So he's our tech guy. So maybe he also wants to say some words.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your own mic? Yeah, okay.
I'm your sleepy nerd today because I've been up since 5 in the morning, I think. Yeah, it was fun to set up a session like this again. And I was like, when someone suggested, oh, we should do like a voice acting panel again, maybe at NFC, I was like vigorously shaking my head because I mean I have the because today I'm team, and so I guess when I'm at NFC, I'm busy with stuff, and actually doing a panel at a convention is actually really stressful tech-wise, because there is always a limited time that you have room available, and then you need to prepare everything, and you need to transport everything, and yeah, I need to make sure to keep all the dependencies, have all the equipment on. Oh my god! I think when we did this, for the first time, I thought of everything except for the USB cable for the interface, and then I had to, then I just bought one there, but yeah, and then basically. Yeah, like setting stuff up and tearing it down. You're racing against the clock because there is limited time for this. That's just, and when you're doing other stuff at the convention, then it's just that's just a bit too serious. Anyway, yeah, another nice chapter and another great result. So because I'm having fun with the tech there, and these guys here are doing the actual work. They have to work their asses off. So I'm waltzing out of here again.
Do we have any questions from anyone?
No, I don't know. Again, if you guys have any questions, you can always ask them in chat. Maybe in the meantime, we can show one cool thing we also worked on. It wasn't like at least you're part of it. Like I'm the as you might know, I'm like the story lead for the Awoostria convention, and that's the thing that Sai mentioned earlier, because I actually wanted him to be here when we show this, because it's like a bit of an extra effort thing compared to just doing the comic dubs. We actually have some original animation work as well that we're doing, at least on a small scale, just for like teaser trailers and stuff for the local furry convention. And I guess it's one of the other projects. I guess I don't want to say we're not gonna talk about Supercell anymore if we have more stuff to talk about that. But I guess it's a good time to show that stuff now, so you can see that with Sai we also might have the capacity to do some animation stuff. So maybe just show that on screen.
Previously at Awoostria, our hero found himself in an unknown world. Now, we meet him in search of a way back home.
Oh dear. How did I get myself into this mess again? Yeah, I was trying to play God. Now I'm stumbling through this jungle ruins. Ugh! Go away! Was that 2 or 3 left? Wait, no, I'm lost. Hello?
Unwittingly, our brave adventurer stumbled upon a really cool ancient mechanism, unleashing the curse of the ancients.
Again with the curses! Ugh! Can't they just come up with something new this time? I'm just looking for my friends!
But little did the wolf know, he was on the right track to make many new friends.
Okay, I don't know if the audio worked well on your side. Could you hear the audio from the video? Now I can
Run away.
yeah. No Ben, no us. I'm not sure what's happening right now.
What's that?
Oh, can you
I
guys hear?
heard the audio.
Oh, okay, okay. You guys were just
I thought you
silent
were
for
asking the audience.
Oh, okay. Great, perfect.
Was that 3D?
I don't think it was 3D. It was actually the way we did it. We make a sketch, then we give it to the artist to make the artwork, and maybe actually, do you want to say something about, because we have the artist from the sketch over here? Not sure if they. I mean, okay. They don't want to show themselves on stream, so. Oh, it's just a sketch, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, that was 2D actually, and Sai animated it. So we gave the sketch to an artist. The artist made the artwork, and then Sai animated all of it. So yeah, it's just I guess to show off that we could also do like a little bit of animation work. Maybe we can use that sometime to do some stuff in the comic that might be pretty cool.
I think Ben has some.
But that's 3D, right?
Yeah.
But that's a different thing again. I mean, I don't know if Sai can do 3D as well, but.
Right, so
Yeah, now I don't even know what to say about the Awoostria stuff, because
don't look at me. I'm not involved so far.
I know, not yet.
Not yet.
But you make good music, so we might get you on board. And you do good voice acting as well. But yeah, we recently like extended our projects by also working with Awoostria, where like it's a furry con, but we actually do like an original story for it, where I like write a whole story from start to finish. Like it goes like between different editions of the con over the years, and we do like little animations as this, and we actually do like 10 to 15 minutes story animations for always for the start of the con and for the end of the con, where like stuff happens, and then during the con stuff happens, and at the end of the con stuff happens. Then we have like a few characters animated that are like voice acted, and basically we tell a small story for that. And I think that's pretty cool stuff. And
I think it was also received very well.
Yeah, it's also received very well. Like people like really like it, I think, and it's actually like a really unique thing for a furrycon to have, because usually when I go to furrycons, I notice that they have a theme, because it's like a thing to have a theme for a furrycon. That's just what you do, and then you just put a theme there, and then maybe put like 2 or 3 decorations somewhere and some artwork that's kind of connected to the theme, and that's it. And then they don't really acknowledge the theme anywhere, like really. And that's what I want to change when I got asked to like lead the whole story thing for Awoostria. Like some friends like approached me at like a meet up here in Vienna, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Hey, sure, I guess I can help." And then it's like, "Okay, you're in now." And then I got sucked in, and now I work like every week on this stuff, like write the story and do stuff like that. And yeah.
That is super neat.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Is the green the green liquid? Was that also? How did you do that? I'm very curious
Well,
about it.
Sai would be able to tell you that if he was here, but sadly he had to go,
Okay.
as you
Got it,
know.
got
But,
it.
yeah. So yeah, I actually don't know what else I should say about that. Just wanted to tick the Awoostria topic checkbox.
Done.
Done. Yeah. We actually got a question in the chat
Oh, cool.
by Angel Shark 64. How many webcomics have you checked out? Depends on what you mean with checked out. I'm actually I can tell the story about how I got into the voice acting the comics again, because actually I'm someone who doesn't like reading at all. Like, I'm super lazy and I always rather watch like videos about it. And then the reason why I looked at Supercell in particular was it was like, oh, it looks so good. I love the character designs. I really want to read it. But I'm lazy about reading. So, oh, it's such a cool comic. It's so awesome. I'm sure somebody has dubbed it already. And then I looked for Supercell dub on like YouTube and didn't find anything. And I was like, okay, maybe I can do this myself. And then I did like the first chapter all on my own. Did all the voices by myself, as you can like see if you like look on our website. It's still linked in there somewhere. It's unlisted on YouTube, but it's listed on our website, I think, somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, that's basically how I got into this whole mess, and then it just spiraled to what it is now. And yeah, I mean, for the question, like, I still don't check out that many webcomics because of that reason. Timberlane is again one of the other ones I looked at some point because the artwork was so good, and that's also one of the rare ones where I like actually bought like the comics, the physical ones, and looked at it. And then some years later, after we were doing Supercell, I was like, hey, we could also do this comic. That's really cool. And other than that, oh yeah, one other webcomic I looked at was Kashmir Sky. I think Ben knows the author of that, at least like somehow, right? It's like also like a furry comic with like cats in space, stuff like that.
Yep.
And yeah, I actually talked to the author at Entrocon like a few years ago, I think, and like briefly at their stand. I also mentioned, hey, we do like dubs. Would you be maybe if we were to make a dub, would that be okay? And I think they said yes. Yeah, maybe in the future that might be also one of the comics. But yeah, in general, I don't really read that much, so I'm lazy. I don't know. How about you? Do you look at webcomics often, or?
Not all that much. I mean, I have a few that I look at every now and then. Actually, not. I have to admit, I know probably I'm gonna be shot now after this. It was been nice knowing you. I started like 20 years ago with Vienna. The skunk. That was a skunk. And yeah, I don't have all that many webcomics. You naughty ones? But I'm not sure if we should.
Maybe not. I'm not sure. Maybe for the super secret channel, it may or may not exist.
Sure.
If I can comment, one thing that is super interesting to me about the backstory that you just shared about this channel is that I knew that the fandom had been done at some point in time, but I think I was more aware of the channel in general because of the Timberlane one. Because I think that's where most of your audience came from.
Yeah,
was the Timberlane one,
for
right?
sure.
And it's possible there's a non-0% chance that more people have heard of and or experienced my comic because of you guys. So that's insane to me.
Yes. I think that's
more
quite possible,
than what? Than compared to what?
Well, because like I'm really bad at like advertising and promoting my own work, and even though like I go on like social media, I'm also just Bluesky, and I'm like, hey guys, I have a comic. I don't think a lot of people actually take the time to go check it out. But like then you look at like the fandom videos that you guys have put out for Supercell, and it's like, oh, there's like a good 2,000 to 3,000 people who have checked it out.
Yeah.
And that might actually be more people than I've ever gotten to read my comics. So that is exceptionally cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a shame, but all, at the same time, I'm very happy that help you out with that as well, because as I already said a few times, I'm a huge fan, especially with like the character designs and so as you know. I think it's not a secret.
there have been a few comments on the YouTube video about the comic, so there's definitely some influx to readers.
Yeah, that always makes me super happy. Like also when I see people even when I see people say, "Oh, I found Timberlane because of the dub," it also makes me happy. I mean, it's just awesome because we can do something with a cool project, work with cool people on cool stuff, and then if we actually can help the people we are fans of with doing that and getting them more exposure as well, that's just a cherry on top, I guess. Yeah. Just makes me very happy. I'm not sure if Carmel is back already, because I'm pretty sure he'd definitely be happy to talk about. Oh yeah.
I just came back, literally. That was timing. Okay. Hi.
Oh.
But I don't know what the topic is, because I just came back to
the topic right now was looking. Or that we help people like also Timberlane and Supercell both to get more eyes on them, because some people just see the dub and then they see, oh, that comic is cool, I might check it out. So that's kind of talked about right now.
Yeah, that's literally what I'm also hoping for in the
Yes,
scope of our
and that's a
project,
perfect
so, yeah.
segue to what you wanted to talk about, or I don't know how much you wanna say, because that's the big secret topic we mentioned.
Yeah, this is gonna be so hard. Okay, so I'm taking the segue, but just stop me at some point, like ideally before you wither and die. But yeah, this is how do I even start this? Let me start by the background, so, or just by the framework. So me and my wife's also like a full-time furry artist for years now. Me not so much, but I've been involved in storytelling for quite a while, game master and everything else. And we have started 3 years ago planning to put a lot of the stuff that I have just experienced over my life and also game mastered into its own proper world building and build a storyline around it. And this has been literally 3 years in preparation. The corpus of purely dense information about both the world that we built and the plot surrounding it is now up to, I think, 850 pages at this point. And we have now gone into actual production for it, as in, doing the webcomic pages. And with a lot armed with all that information that I already had about it, including like a full, actually semi-fleshed out full act 1 of book 1, but I also have the whole outline of the skeleton of the story already available. I came specifically to Voltaire from Marten and Inventor because I knew them for a while now, working on Supercell together, and also I've voiced like a character in every single Awoostria event so far, and a few other minor things. And I deliberately wanted to ask them nicely if they would be interested in doing a collaboration on this, as in, take my comic that is going to be, doesn't exist yet, although to me it might as well, to then also make a dub for it, because I love those dubs, and I think they're like a straight up update to what a comic by itself is and could be. And they also have the range and would be fun to work on it. And yeah, this is the insane thing about this is when I actually brought this to a pitch, you could say, right? And I've never pitched anything in my life before. I'm not anyone who has done entrepreneurship so far. The insane thing is I work in IT at a very large company, and I can make a presentation about a technical topic, to like 900 people and just don't give a fuck. Like, as in, I don't care, just gonna be myself, gonna make all the jokes, gonna, you know, just tank over it with no concern and no shame and no nervousness whatsoever. But I was terrified to talk about my project because, I mean, just to two people I already knew who, you know, basically are friends at this point, to ask them nicely if they would do a project with me, because it is that much more important to me than anything I've ever done with professional work.
But
In
just
those
to
last
say,
years-
literally at the reference, he came up to us and was like, okay, like we went to our room basically, and then he started explaining the thing, and he literally talked for like 3 hours explaining all the lore, all the characters, the first chapter already planned out, and it's like so cool, and he's like so passionate about it. It's like I don't know why you're even nervous. It's like shows that you like really care about this, and that's like the cornerstone of making it really awesome. So yeah.
He says you can't say all the man. In order to get down to 3 hours, I had to crop for weeks, as in literally plan out what not to tell in order to just get to 3 hours. But yeah, I'm glad you perceived it that way. So yeah, after presenting the whole thing, we came to the agreement that we're going to do this. And here's the thing. Like, we could start posting pages for this like in a month or two when the first pages start coming out, like 2 pages a week, but we don't want to, because the reality of it is that if we are making any kind of attempt at doing something of a proper, you know, chance to get some awareness for that thing, we'll do it like one time, and then afterwards it's going to be like word of mouth and running, right? So since our comic is really just, it's not like a serialized funny strips kind of thing. It's a proper fantasy epic, like big kind. We can't just show 10 or 20 pages to some people and then hope for the best, right? Because this will not be enough time there might be enough time to judge the quality of the artwork and maybe to a degree the dialogue and writing, but if you want to go into the actual depth of both the world and the actual characters and the storyboarding itself, this is just not going to be enough to reliably hook people. So our intention is, anyway, this was independent even of the Spotted Marten collab, to have the full Act 1 of Book 1 ready. And that is approximately going to be like 100 or 120 pages by the current design. And we want to kind of release this all at once. So whoever takes a look at it at all gets enough to see about it to either fall in love with it or, you know, just decide it's not their cup of tea, and that's the thing of it. And yeah, well, there's Spotted Marten, who are good at making 1 hour long videos, which pretty much cover a similar number of pages to begin with. And we have now agreed upon that during the production of that comic, which again, release will only be like in 1 or 1.5 years. So sorry about that, but you know, it just happened. So Martin invited me to this call to talk about this. That will work in parallel, as in when we have enough pages available, and also I have the full scripts even before the pages are available with the dialogue and everything else, and full character, like psychological characters, dossiers and everything else will be available. Spotted Marten will then go into production in parallel, so that we will release both the comic and the dub for the comic at the same time, like in 1 to 1.5 years. Afterwards, we'll go for 2 pages a week, which takes like 50% of the professional work time of my wife, and just keep going from there and hoping it'll catch on. That's pretty much the scope. And I wish I could tell you like a lot more about everything, but first of all, this is to a degree it's a risk because it's spoiler territory, right? Depending on what I want to talk about, and second of all, it's just too much. But to give you an outline, it is a fantasy work. It involves like a number of species, which to a degree might be similar to what we know in other works. I'm not talking dwarves and elves or anything. It's not Tolkien-esque at all, right? But there's of course like animal aspects to some of the species, right? But even for those, the specific biology and cultures and psychology is fairly distinct. A lot of the species are also just fully unique new packages of fun things. The magic system is highly involved, but I can't spoil much about it. It's high fantasy though, so more along the lines of something like D&D and less along the lines of A Song of Ice and Fire. And yeah, I can with all honesty call this my magnum opus even as it is now, because I will never be involved in doing something creative again in my life that will be of any similar scope or importance to me. So this is going to happen anyway, and I'm glad to take everybody along with it who I can, which is why I'll also hope that when the casting call goes out to the secret project, that people will be interested, and then they will have to actually do some kind of NDA thing, but just to be on the safe side of things. But I hope that most voice actors are used to this anyway. And then that will get people who want to speak their characters for the next, let me not lie here, 10 to 15 years, because with 2 pages a week, you have 100 pages a year, and the current scope, the skeleton, is built for 1,500 pages. And yes, the story for that is basically finished.
Looks like we got our work cut out for us. Looks like we got our work cut out for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's gonna be huge.
I already heard that is like all of Act 1, Chapter 1. I'm not sure if it was Act 1 and Chapter 1 is the same.
No, it was Act 1. It's like first 4 to 5 chapters, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so I already heard all of that, and I can say it really hooked me. So I can already tell you that when it comes out, I think you're gonna like it if you read it. So yeah.
Thanks, man.
Nice.
And also thank you for asking us as well. It's like also an honor, because again, being able to put eyes on like some cool projects is like great. And if you actually come to us and trust us with making something cool out of your cool work, then that's awesome.
Yeah, I have no worries about that, man. I saw that. I mean, I not only by participate in the Supercell, I saw your Timberlane stuff. It's amazing. I honestly, for something that is a comic dub, as in taking a comic, doing it panel by panel, line by line, right? I can't see any delineating line between what you do and what a professional studio for this would do. I can't. This is just, it's all in there. The voice acting is fantastic. The directing is good. The cutting is fine. This is really great, and the music, also amazing. So I'll be glad for that. I'm grateful to have both the opportunity to see the comic come to life in that fashion, and in a secondary fashion, of course, also for the exposure. As Ben said, you guys might actually. There's gonna be. It's for me, from my perspective. Quality only goes so far, right? As Ben will know, there's, because you have an amazing webcomic and it's so hard to just be seen and get heard, right? The difference between doing a cold start, where and I'm not kidding here, tell every person I've ever known in my life to look at this one thing now, because this is my magnum opus and I'm never going to ask about it again, right? But even something like that is basically still a cold start, and there's a huge difference between having a cold start or having, the dub come out on Spotted Marten at the same time, with like 10,000 subscribers already there, and like the reach that they have. And so I was very relieved when I was able to hook you guys.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to put this all into action. Yeah.
I already heard Ezra say, "Oh, we have our work cut out for us." And Orlando also said, "Sounds super awesome." So we already have two musicians on board as well, I think.
Yeah.
Nice. So, and he hasn't even heard anything about the comic yet.
Yeah, I get to make more music.
Awesome. Let's go.
Yeah. So for the scope of, especially when this comes for the music, right? I already have a musician on board, which is not a boundary here, because
I'm going.
Because the one I already have on board will not be able to do everything of it, right? So, but he might provide a leitmotif, so that would already be great, and maybe some mood pieces, so I can still use every help that is available. Especially if you're going into the music, right? I have the strong belief that in order to do music for a piece properly, you need to understand it as deep as possible, right? So for the purpose of NDAs, if we are signing on somebody up for like the voice acting, they'll know something about the character and their approximate character arc and everything else, right? But if you want to do the music, I'll have to put you like into the deep beta reader category, right? The guy who is supposed to be able to know everything in order to fully understand it, like from the bottom up, so you can really capture the feel of everything. And yeah, that
Fine by
if you
me.
don't mind, that is. I mean, I had people who I mean, I have beta readers already for the lore and everything else, and most of them, of course, like close friends or relatives. But it is a lot. So if you actually wanted to go through the whole world building, that would be, even with me retelling it, it's days, not even hours. It's days to read into it, because it's become so much at this point and so tightly interconnected. There's okay, because I can go full abstract here, right? Because it is so abstract. The one thing that sets this apart from everything else is the interconnectivity within the world building. I'm used to fantasy being like, they have like a world, whatever, can be a very interesting world, right? Can be floating islands or whatever, right? Or a totally different thing, or the multiple dimensions or whatever, it doesn't matter. But it usually still comes down to, you kind of have like regular physics, and then you have like a magic system kind of on top of it, right? As in, either it's like a soft magic system, like in Tolkien, where you have like, the whole world is a song, and there's this discordant note, and everything is mystical, nothing's explained, magic powers exist, but they're not quantifiable. Or you have like the Brandon Sanderson style hard magic systems, right, where there's like strict rules, things are possible, but it's more important what's not possible in order to, have the characters kind of use this toolbox to figure everything out, which is also like the more regular approach for something like shonen anime, right? But this world that I built is kind of in the third category, because what in this world leads to magic is not just physical reality plus magic on top. The whole thing from which magic emerges as a property is built into the foundational metaphysics of the world. So basically, everything that the characters do and the important things that happen and all those things that they can use, which go beyond the scope of what could be possible in our reality, is not just something that works because that's how it is, because axiomatically this was decided, but rather really as an emergent property of how the world works on a much, much deeper level, like in actual physical rules and everything else.
And now you know why the abridged version to explain everything was like 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. That was half an hour of the actual creation story, which people will need a while to wait for to actually get it seen through the comic. And then like an hour of world building, and then 1.5 hours of the Act 1 storytelling with everything else. That was, man, I spent weeks just preparing for this, but you have no idea. I was really just planning this out. Okay, so what do I tell? I could tell this whole story. No, I can't, because the convention is only that long, and they might also want to visit something else. So, yeah, but
At least we got a dinner out of it, right?
yeah, it's fun. Also, Ben, actually, honestly, if you don't mind, I actually ping you after the whole thing, ask you a few questions, since you've been leading such a project of such high quality for such a long time. If you don't mind sharing some of your experience, that'd be amazing.
Sure. Yeah, anytime, hit me up.
Cool, man. I'll ring you up on Discord.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is the lore of Supercell also like thought out this much, or is it like, I don't know, like how much time did you pour into the lore so far for Supercell? Like how deep does it go, or do you like expand on it more on as you go?
So I've been treating it a little bit both ways. One, kind of like what I described with the language earlier, where I have the basic overview of a lot of stuff that spans stuff that's far greater than the school itself. but it's not necessarily all super in detail. The reason for that is because, as you may have pieced together by now, there is a lot of political background to everything that's going on in the comic. Crown is not just like some mob boss. He is a political figure with a lot of like influence, and a lot of the parties that have been operating kind of in the shadows here are people who are kind of like playing in that same sphere, like socially. So there's also a scene in later in book 2 when Tajo and Thoughtsof are talking about how, oh yeah, like the Castilian triumvirate and blah blah blah. Like there's a bunch of stuff that I have like fleshed out, in so much as it'll help me bring clarity and like flavor text into the comic itself. So there's a bit of information somewhere, I believe in chapter 4. Yeah, toward the end of chapter 4, they mentioned that the Ronin League is comprised of 37 different nations. Now, I don't have names for all of those nations, right? But I know there's 37 of them. Because like knowing the names of each of those nations is not actually important, but knowing enough details that'll help me tell the story is, that is the part that's like, the more you're world building for the fun of it or for the hell of world building, the less you're actually writing your story and making it.
Yeah.
So you got to find a good balance between like, is what I have right now enough for me to tell my story? Yes or no? So like something that I do have nailed down, like as crystalline as I can, is like the magic system, right? I'm not just BSing it with the Kenro rings. There's actually a logic to how it all works. There's an undercurrent of like mechanical thoughtfulness to how and when anybody who uses Kenro uses it and why.
I still want to know so bad why Keel can use it without rings, right? So the whole secret of the schoolmate, basically. But yeah.
Right. And that's the thing, is like right now I haven't explained a whole lot of the mechanics in world, right? And like in the comic, there's still a lot of questions, but know that Kale using those powers is weird, and that comes from me knowing how the magic system works enough that like I can draw a distinction between like people doing stuff and then everybody being like, why is that kid weird, right?
Yeah.
And that will all be explained because that is part of the plot. But there are definitely some areas where I have either spent a little too much time developing things because it was fun and I wasted a bunch of time doing that, or I ran into like a thing where it's like, oh, I haven't world built that and I'm trying to use that in the story. Well, crap, now I gotta put things on hold so I can work on that a little bit.
I have to tell you 2 things. First of all, I still have to give you like big props on the speech that Desert has, right? I've spoken this speech like, I don't know, 12 times, trying to also speak for that character because Fida wasn't enough for me, right? I tried to get another role. And that is such a good speech that characterizes both him, but also the political stage in such an interesting way, while also being remarkably truthful about how actual politics work, right? And like how actual power dynamics work. So that I enjoyed this very much. Big kudos for that. I can also understand the scope. There's a name for it, right? The world builder's disease. When you start building shit that's not relevant to what you want to tell as a story anymore, and nobody's ever going to see it, right?
Right.
I also have quite a few nations, and not all of them are named. And when I talked about the depth of the lore, in my case, it's more vertical than horizontal, right? Like it's important for me for the stuff that actually does appear to be deeply ingrained, as in go very far below the surface, rather than just trying to define everything that might exist in this huge world. Same as for you with the nations, right? You can always build on that later. But yeah. I totally understand what you mean. At the end of the day, if you just want to tell the story, right, you only need the backdrops to be convincing enough for people to believe that there's depth behind, even if there wasn't, right? But yeah, that's always a hard balance to strike.
Yeah, and one thing that I do want to mention about that, though, because it came to mind as we were describing it being taller than it is wider, is that it doesn't have to be one like spy, right? So like if I were to, I have a map of what I have a continental map of what the setting looks like. Um, there are little towers in various places. Like it's not one tall building. It's like there's various little towers because they all kind of like connect back to,
Yeah.
where the story is happening. And one of the things, and I don't know if you're planning on doing this, it's something that came up for me organically over time. In the back burn, and I revisit this ever so often when I have the time, I have been developing a tabletop RPG of Supercell. So that has actually caused me to flesh out a bunch of details that I hadn't really, fleshed out
Oh,
before.
man.
Not because it's going to show up in the comic, but because like if people are going to want to play a tabletop RPG game in this setting, like there's things they're going to need to know and things they're going to want to know. And
Yeah.
so like I've been building up a lot of that stuff in chapter 4. We do establish that there is Kale doesn't just speak 2 languages, she speaks 3 languages, right? Like we have an implication about that. And it's like, oh, what is this third, entity that exists that it's neither Ronan nor Castinia and Castina. And so I've been fleshing that out as I've been putting together this RPG, even though it's never actually going to make it into like the comic itself. And that's been fun to think about. So like
Now I
it
want to
doesn't
talk
have to be a
even
waste.
more. No, now I want to talk to you even more. To answer the question, if I've thought about it, I've already game mastered 2 basically alpha groups within my world even before the plot came out, just to get a
Nice.
feeling for the species and the places and the magic and the actual feel of the world and everything else. So absolutely want to extend into like pen and paper territory in the long run, which is also a reason to make the world building like more solid in general, right? Not just in this like places which are visible to the plot.
Very nice.
So yeah, absolutely, but it's going to still take a while. I will assume that because by the way, you're doing both the story and the art, right?
Yes.
Oh God, I can't imagine that, man. I'm just a writer. The art is going to be all my wife, right? But I assume that when this is going, even though I'm doing the paneling and everything, the paneling and the dialogue and the scripts for the art and everything else, that she's going to be more busy with this than I am, right? Doing the actual artwork is still like the majority of the work per page, and then on the side I could work on the pen and paper system or making the world building deeper or even making a novel out of it, but I'm not yet sure about it. It's but I think we have to kind of circle back because
that actually
is going to talk like about
that actually led me to a
creating shit
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ben, how long does it take you to draw one of those on average?
Like a comic page?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if I wake up and I have nothing else going on that day and I just like hunker down, I can get a whole page done in a single day. In fact, earlier on in the comics history, I was publishing 2 pages a week for I think the first 4 years of it, 4 or 5 years of it, and then life happens. Like crap started getting in the way. I started running into a lot of like physical obstacles. Money being a limitation. But no, I can. I'm an extremely fast artist. If any of you follow me on social media, you'll know that I'm posting art like almost every single day. I'm always making new things. I am not somebody that it is healthy to use as a metric for. People are like, "Wow, you have such a great work ethic." It's like, no. I have a problem. I am a workaholic. I have an illness.
You are a machine, dude.
Yeah, but it's because it's impressive, right? It's like, ooh, look at how much stuff you make. It's like, no, you don't understand. This is an illness that I have that I'm trying to manage.
This is me throwing away my health and my daily life and everything else to make this happen, right? It's not just
Yeah, and so like using me as a metric for anything is not a good idea. I will harp on that forever. With that said, like, if I did get to a point where I'm like successfully kind of like monetizing, my own work, like the comic, and I don't need to have, well, right now I only have 3 jobs, but a couple of months ago I had 5. Like if I didn't need to have 5 jobs in order to survive, I would probably be doing 2 pages a week again.
Yeah, that's like wow.
But like I'm very fast. Like actually, one thing that I wanted to say earlier when you talked about how your partner might be a lot busier working on this than you might be. That's gonna like I wouldn't take that as a given because sometimes writing can be a monumental challenge that's gonna like one scene is gonna take you a couple of months to figure out because it's like you're not gonna find the right lines, you're not gonna find the right dialogue, something's gonna feel weird and you're not gonna have any idea what it is and you're gonna like try to beat it into shape and then you know something is going to resolve itself one day and it's like oh that's so obvious that like it wasn't right, it took you that long to figure out. So like it may be true that your partner might be spending a lot more time working on it kind of in real time, but like you will definitely run into obstacles yourself. So don't like I just wanted to say like, once that starts happening, don't feel bad about it. Like don't beat yourself up over it. Don't be like, oh, am I actually bad at this? It's like no, writing is extremely difficult, which you've probably already experienced in some way or form. But
I mean, yes and no. First of all, I take your word for it, and I fully believe that this is going to happen because I only have cherry picking so far, right? What I did do is, as I said, the story skeleton is done. I basically know all 67 chapters by this point, right? And what's going to happen in those, like, as the major event and beats and plot developments and everything else. And I've written down a few scenes to get a feeling for how this would feel and also to show it to some beta readers, right? And with good results. But of course, I cherry picked the scenes that I, love, for which I already had an idea to which I've been working towards. I haven't yet had a scene where I said, okay, this needs to happen here. Oh, he dropped from Discord.
Inventor, can you put Ben back on stage? I don't know. Yes. Ben dropped
is
off
gone.
stage. Okay, 1 second. I'll fix it.
You talked him out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
I'm so sorry, man. This will happen.
There's the thing. There we go. Okay, now there we go.
hello,
Fixed it. Hello
I just
again.
learned that my keyboard has a button that turns off my computer for some reason.
Oh.
To disable that. Why does a keyboard have a button to do that? That's insane.
No, no.
It could be the sleep button, actually. Like, there's some
Yeah,
keyboards
probably.
actually have it. Like,
The moon button.
AZ3.
So
Oh,
when
no.
did I lose you exactly?
You said that you weren't doubting that it was going to happen, and then I cut out.
Oh, yeah, so I'm not doubting that this is going to happen, right? Because I've only been cherry picking. So as I said, I have the skeleton ready, right? I know all 67 chapters. I know the major plot beats, character developments, and everything. So I at least shouldn't get into any kind of what needs to happen here or what might this imply kind of writer's block, right? But and I've also, for the beta readers and for myself, in order not to get insane when building the skeleton, right? Like written down a few scenes that I particularly liked, and that is easy, right? Because you already have a clear picture of what you want to write and how this is going to feel, and that's not the hard part. But I haven't run into the potential wall yet of having a scene where I say, okay, in this scene A, B, and C need to happen, right? But I haven't really have no feeling for it exactly how to formulate it, how to present it, and so on, right? So I haven't tried it yet. So I have no doubt that you're right, that this will absolutely happen at some point when going into the details of the scene. I was approaching something similar to it when making the Act 1 fleshed out enough to tell everything about it to Voltaire. But yeah, let's see how that goes. I'm curious. Also, you don't have to answer, right? But have you finalized the plot of Supercell, or just up to a point?
I thought I did. So here's another curveball that you might end up running into. I forget. Did you say you've read the comic in full so far?
Yeah, I've read it so far.
Okay, so I had the whole thing, more or less planned out, barring figuring out a handful of details here and there. And I was working on book 2 and making my way through that, and everything was fine. And then, I have this sequence where it's like, oh, Kale is recruiting students to, help her with the espionage crap that she wants to do. And that's I don't need to worry about these characters. They're just here because Kale is doing a thing. I don't have to think about them too much. oh, I have this fun idea for this one-off character that's like a snake with wings, based kind of on Archaeopteryx. She's gonna be pink. Awesome. I'm never gonna have to draw her again, so she can be complicated. It's fine. Um, and then I actually got to the fucking scene where Kale, goes to, make good on her promise with Fangs. And Fangs is like, okay, let me ask you some personal questions. And Kale is like, I'm a super soldier that's being raised to kill people. And Fangs is like, a fucking pardon? And,
I love
the way that I
Fangs.
wrote,
He's such a fun
yeah,
character.
yeah, the way that I wrote that scene, like I had some bullet points for who Fangs was. It's like, oh, Fangs is like she has her shit together, like other people admire her. That's one of the reasons why Kale kind of like targeted her as, oh, maybe I can get you on my side. And, um, they're having this discussion where Kale is kind of like opening up about all of these like, fucked up things in her life. And Fangs is like, I can't leave this alone, right? Like, Fangs went from like this one-off character where it's just like, oh, Fangs is going to just be the receptor of like some exposition that I need to do with Kale. And then because of the way that I wrote that scene, it's like, oh no, Fangs is someone who would not just let that go. Like how does somebody come to you and tell you, this thing? It's like, oh yeah, I'm about to kill someone, and you just go, oh, okay, and then just
Yeah.
not do something about that, right? How do you not at least go to like the police and be like, hey, someone just told me that they might be murdering a guy, right?
Yeah,
So
that
this
is so
is
interesting. Bye.
yeah, so this is what happened with Fangs. It's like Hale just introduced a lot of things that like just shattered her entire perception of reality in this fucking school that she's in. And so, immediately she's like, well, I have to get involved in this story, right? And the same thing happened with Zagon. Zagon was originally just going to be like this one character that's like, oh, Kale doesn't super get along with a lot of her peers because she's kind of an asshole. But Zagon is this character who's like, oh, but I'm nice, so I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, and I'll go bad for you. Um, and then obviously, once Oz has this revelation that happens in chapter 6 with thoughts of and all of that, and he's like losing his shit and like really freaking out. Um, Zygon is like, dude, Oz is like my friend. I need to go help him. And I tried to have Kale be like, but like I'm the main character. Let me go deal with that. Like as I was writing this, there was no way for me to accept that Zygon would be like, oh sure, I'll let Oz go freak out over there on his own and have you, Kale, the unstable like aggression child, go deal with this. Because there was just no sensible way for me to allow that. It felt like character assassination.
Yeah.
So now both Fangs and Zagon are here, and it's like, oh man, the fact that they're here means that like, something as simple as book 3 originally was going to be so much about Kale being isolated, and the spiraling that was going to happen as a result of Kale being isolated can no longer happen because now you have Fangs and Zygon being like, this kid cannot be isolated because she's going to hurt herself.
Yeah.
So I had the story planned out, and now it's like, well, shit, that story is not viable anymore because now I have Fangs and Zygon like doing crap that's like, circumventing a lot of the original plan that I had. Now, the story has evolved. It still have the same basic idea. It's still following the same general trajectory, but
the
it's not doing
key
so.
point will not have changed, right? But the exact like the trajectory might be different.
Yes, but it's different now because of the involvement of these two like very potent figures that are now part of the plot, so they can't happen in the same way. And to give you a little bit of context, there was a character that was originally going to die. I'm not gonna say who. Is no longer going to die because stuff has shifted, right? So even things that are that massive, like plot-wise, where it's like this huge implication, like a character dying, it's like, oh, that can't happen anymore because these other circumstances have changed.
Yeah.
So like the way you phrased it is actually great. Like thematically, I'm still going in the same direction, and like I'm still aiming at the same target of like this is what the overall like statement is that the story is trying to make. But how it happens is like very different from how it used to be again, based purely on the fact that Fangs and Zygon are involved now, but there's a bunch of stuff that has evolved and changed and shifted that has made things drastically different from how they were, like, relatively recently. So
And you only discover it when fleshing it out, right? You have a plan beforehand, but when you actually go scene by scene, you might realize, man, this is actually not consistent with the character, or this is unjustifiable, or this. Yeah, okay.
100%, that is what happens. Sometimes you'll be writing a character and the scene just doesn't feel natural, and then again, it might take you a couple of months to realize, oh, it's because I'm trying to make this character be an asshole for no reason, so I can facilitate that plot point. But this character is not an asshole, so I can't have that. Like, I need to find another way to make that happen, if it happens at all, because I think once you free yourself from, like, no, this needs to happen, and just allow yourself to go, what would happen? It does become a lot easier to get past some of these obstacles.
Yeah, sure. All right, thanks for the tips, man. I'll absorb all of it. Yeah, but I'll still come at you in Discord, because it's already fun talking about it now. But as I said, we can't just capture the spot in Marten's stream for.
Yeah, no, anytime. I'm always more than happy to talk shop, and that goes for anyone here. Like, if you ever have curiosities about, like I know that you guys are getting into animation now. It's a different kind of animation than what I do, but I do animation. So, like, if you have any curiosities or whatever, like, feel free to hit me up. I do have some stuff that I want to animate in the future, so I might hit you up for voice lines.
Dude, anything, man, anything. Again, all of it is work.
Don't worry about the capturing part. It was
like
very nice listening to you guys. We enjoy the comic craft, so if we hear people talking about the comic craft, who actually do the craft and not just something layered on top of it, then that's obviously very interesting.
If I can throw one extra bit there, I mentioned earlier, and I just glanced at the YouTube chat, and somebody was like, what, TTRPG Supercell? The one thing that I have fully nailed down at this point is actually the character creator. It's really fun. Because the big thing about Supercell is that all of the characters are just whack as shit, right? So, like, the character creator actually facilitates that for the TTRPG, and I'm very excited to finally be able to share that.
Oh, looking forward to seeing it.
Is there a release date planned for this?
There is not. Again, it's something that I, like I mentioned earlier, like, I currently have 3 jobs, so it's something that I visit when I have the time.
Okay. I think we're slowly getting to the end, unless you guys still have anything you want to talk about. Or maybe anyone in chat still wants to ask a question before we call it a day.
Yes, ask away, because we will be gone soon.
Yeah. Then you get another chance in a few months whenever we release Chapter 4, I guess. Or you can always ask in the comments when Temple in Chapter 5 comes out. We're very happy about answering the question the same time every time it comes up, but yeah. Well, it will come out. I can answer it right now. Temple in Chapter 5 will come out when the chapter itself is finished by Caitlin and her team. They're working on it right now, illustrating everything, and coming out 1 page per week, I think, still. And I haven't actually looked at Tamberlane for, like, actually read the comic for, like, months at this point.
I think she's on a hiatus.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, she always has, like, stuff with her health and stuff, so she might sometimes need to take breaks and stuff, which is totally fair, especially with the type of quality she puts out there. And whenever the comic itself, Chapter 5 itself is done, then we'll go into production, and probably, like, half a year later or whatever, we'll probably release Temple in Chapter 5, the dub. So yeah, I can't really give you an update on when it's gonna be, but maybe in, like, 2 years, 1.5 years, maybe around that time. So okay, any other questions? Okay, Fra says that the hiatus has ended, but the pages now release every couple of weeks once the scene is done. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. Who's your favorite Supercell character? Asked by Angel Shark 64 again. Good question. I think design-wise, I like Fangs a lot. He's really cool. We haven't seen her yet if you only watched the dub. but she's like the character Ben mentioned earlier, the like bird, pink bird kind of character with like feathers and stuff. She's really cool. And also like design wise, I really like one of the side characters is like an axolotl. Oh, I see Kenstens just joined. Maybe she wants to say a few words. Well, maybe Inventor, can you invite Kenstens to speak? Hyde Moore. She's the voice of WhatsApp actually. So maybe she wants to say a few words. You don't have to if you don't want to, but we're gonna invite you to speak just in case you wanna hop on. Okay, where was I? Hello.
There.
Ooh.
Hi.
Apologies if you hear my dog barking in the background.
No, I think
She's
Discord.
crazy.
This Discord is stopping that from going through.
Good.
So hello, we were just about to wrap up, but now that you're here, maybe you can also say a few words still.
Hello, there's my word. I don't know what to say. I love the character. I thoroughly enjoyed playing her, and look forward to more. So the whole project is pretty freaking awesome, and yeah, it's great. I think everybody is doing a fabulous job and thoroughly enjoying it. So that's about it, probably, for my input.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
Also,
Don't make
yeah, you're also really cool, nailing your character there.
Thank
you. Big, angry,
yes,
powerful.
she is very angry. She has all the rage.
Yeah. Actually, not as much as you would think if you look at the later chapters, but no spoilers here.
She does have some caring and compassion, and she's not just a beast.
Yeah. Going back to the question in terms of favorite character, in terms of like personality or like how I like the character archetypes, I really like Desset and also Crown, like the scheming, like having everything under control freak like characters who like really also are like really no bullshit type characters who like really wanna control everything and be on top and do stuff. I find this kind of character really cool. So those are like my favorite characters, I guess. Anyone else?
Yeah, my favorite character design-wise would really like that guy. Cool. Character-wise, I would go for Oz. Really like,
yeah.
Especially the way you portray him. I think it really brings him to life and really likable and livable character. Yeah. Those are my...
Anyone else have a favorite?
Of course, Crown.
Yeah, Crown.
Yes, Crown for me, easy favorite. Amazing character, well done. Also the paneling, like around Crown when he talks to Oz, holy shit, man! And the whole like visualization of Oz feeling little. I might not copy it, but I might get very inspired by that sequence. That was delightful.
Which one? Sorry, I didn't get it.
Chapter 5. When
oh yeah. It's gonna be.
Oz gets chewed out.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah.
That was the visualization of that was fucking amazing.
I like Tajo. I like Tajo a lot. He's really cool.
He's also very fun.
Very fun. He's got that the camp counselor type of energy, but like him having that secret like ulterior motive and stuff. It's really cool.
His I guess archetype is based on every performance I've ever seen from Jack McBrayer.
Oh.
Who is he's Wander Over Yonder. He's Kenneth the Page in 30 Rock.
It all makes sense.
What else has he been? Yeah. but obviously there's there's some darkness in there.
No, yeah, it's cool. Like seeing him like put on the facade and stuff too, while still being true to himself. But again, like he does like ham up that little like that act of his, like acting like he doesn't know anything.
So that's the fun thing about writing him is that it's not like an act really. Like that is actually just his personality. It's just that because that's his personality, like people don't take him seriously. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's kind of goofy and like he misses some details, but like he's also not an idiot. Like he's been pretty sharp overall. But because he comes off as just kind of like like people are just like, ugh, this guy, and it's like, yeah, and then you underestimate him, and then he stabs you, which is actually not unlike, Kale does something very similar. Like Kale is goofy as hell, running around being a gremlin, and everyone is like, oh, Kale, you dope, and then you know, blood splatter on the wall. It's actually they have a very kind of like similar, intentionally so. Like they're both like, oh, they're goofy and fun, but then they're actually extremely dangerous, and people only like underestimate them because of their energy.
Yeah, I think we
and
see a
again,
big.
love that kind of stuff because again, he's not like, I know that I said like there's a little bit of facade going on, but it's like he's just lying. He's still being himself, but he's really good at lying.
Yes.
I think we see a
I'm
big.
actually very curious how the scene in Crown's office is going to be handled. It's one of the first couple of scenes in chapter 4 between him and Crown. I'm curious how you guys are going to handle that.
Yeah, that was what was mentioned.
There's some revelations in there that.
Yeah, we really see like that part of Tasha's personality shine through in that scene.
Yeah.
So gonna be cool. Orlando actually said that Otsev might be one of his favorite characters, and he also finds Kale and Fallon's design really interesting.
Nice.
I mean, what about
for
you?
the Thoughts of fans, book 3 is going to be very thoughts of heavy. No pun intended.
Ben, actually, what I don't know if you wanna choose your favorite children, but like, what are your favorite characters?
For me, oh gosh,
Yeah.
I think so. Like, obviously, I think Fangs carries a lot of weight with me right now. And I that was just kind of like in part, I think, comes from the fact that I designed her with the idea of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this like fun design. It's just gonna have like wings and like feathers and colors because I'm only gonna have to draw this character once, right? So I don't have to, think about like design efficiency. And now I'm stuck with her.
Famous last words.
Right. But I think the fact that like she came mostly from just pure initiative and like just kind of like an inquisitive nature of like this character is here to ask questions and react to like Kale, right? And then because of that initiative of like, oh, I need to do something about this, like I need to get involved, like that is something that ended up appealing to me a lot. Because like every other character was designed with just kind of like a specific role to fill in the story, and then Fangs came just purely organically out of like, hey, how would somebody who's like sensible react to all this shit? So like that's a really powerful thing for me. It's like I've been really enjoying that energy. It's been really fun to write. But any time that I'm writing a specific character in a specific scene dealing with like a particular topic, it's I get fixated on that character. So like I can tell you, I wish book 3 was out already so I could talk about all this stuff. But like the prologue of book 3 is Tajo, Thoughtsev, and Crown hashing something out. I'm gonna share what, but like they're hashing something out, and like all 3 of them get so much, they cover so much ground in that one prologue that like I just get fixated in each of them whenever I'm like figuring these things out. Everything that I wrote in chapter 9, which is mostly Kale, Fangs, Oz, and Zagon figuring things out. It's like I get fixated on each of them at like every few lines of dialogue because it's like so much character is being put into it. It's one thing that I'm actually very excited about is the last scene of chapter 9, which is an exchange between Fida and Desert Thousand, which is the first time we're going to see them, having a conversation outside of all the plot stuff, right? It's just them in like in a situation that we haven't seen them before, and I think a lot of people are gonna potentially be very surprised by how that dynamic works and what all goes into it. So excited to get there.
Oh yeah, you're getting me really excited for that. Really want to see it.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think of Vita right now as just kind of like this monstrous character that's like an attack dog, and it's like, yes, that is true, but also Vita is a character, and I think that's the first time we're really gonna see what Vita is about as a character. So it's like, yes, gimme.
And wait, will I get to talk a lot as her?
Yes.
Awesome.
Do you actually have an idea of when chapter 3 is gonna book 3 is gonna start coming out, actually? Because I don't think I know.
So I'm like right at the tail end of being able to start putting pages up on like Patreon at least. The only thing that's been getting in my way right now is literally just like physical logistics, physical
Okay.
obstacles. You know, as some of you may have seen if you follow me like on social media, is that there was some health insurance garbage that happened recently, so I had to be like, oh man, I need to take in like a bunch of extra commission work to try and like hit some like money numbers and you know, get a bunch of extra hours in my other jobs, and like trying to figure all of that out has been just like, I have been absolutely overwhelmed lately, to the point where like, you know, I couldn't even stream yesterday. I was so like just mentally exhausted. But like as soon as I have a chance to like just clear out just a little bit of extra time and just focus on that, um, you know, I already have like the first 5 pages of the prologue sketched out, and they look amazing, and I can't wait to finish them. And as soon as I have those ready, I'm gonna start putting them up on Patreon. I'm hoping that is gonna happen within the next 3 weeks.
Let's go.
That would be cool.
I'm hyped.
Also, within the next 3 weeks, there's another thing that I have been like forcing myself to scratch out at least a little bit every day. I have a new Blender rig for Kale that's coming out.
Ooh.
And it's looking a lot nicer than the first one. So I'm excited about that
Something
too.
for the animators.
Yes.
Sick.
Do we have any
But
more?
yeah, I'm hoping within the next 3 weeks I'll start putting pages up on Patreon. And once that happens, I think it'll be a lot easier for me to establish a rhythm. So hoping for the best.
Do we have any more favorite characters? Anyone? Otherwise, there's one other question that came up. Would you ever seriously consider doing NSFW dubbing, even if it has to be on a different channel or whatever? I mean, I guess all the voice actors can do in their free time whatever they want. So if they want to do NSFW dubs, then that's fine. I'm not sure if I would like facilitate a platform for that. I mean, yeah. It's
So we
just
do the
another
voice lines,
project.
but you don't put it out.
Yeah, I mean, you can do the voice lines for someone else to edit. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, there's no shame in it. I've worked on tabula animations before.
yeah. That's one of the ask blocks we're gonna put out at some point. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That is an ask thing that
Yeah.
came up. That's funny.
So totally no shame in that at all. It would be another project as well, like another thing where you have to do like. I already have so much on my plate with like my day job and Awoostria and doing all of this stuff. It's like my plate is full, so I won't add that on top as well. But
Yeah.
all right. Okay, but
Do we have any more questions?
no, I don't think so. So I guess if nobody has any more topics to get to, then I think, unless there comes a question in the next 10 seconds, then I think we can close it for today. I think it's about the same time length as our usual Postmarten streams.
How long has it been?
I think 2.5 hours, yeah.
2.5 hours, yeah.
Okay, Quasar says the question was just theoretically if it wasn't the table or if you're ruling it out completely. Well, I can't see myself doing that. Like I would just be the editor anyway, so mostly up to the voice actors as well. But I don't think I would do that. But oh, thank you.
I get it. Like I don't know if I would like do that on my own. Like I do have a not safe for work account, right? But I don't like I don't necessarily I don't know, I feel like it would be weird for me to like if I started doing like not safe for work animation and then having to ask like people is like, hey, do you want to moan for me? Like,
Yeah, that's
I would have to like know somebody really well before I'm able to ask that.
yeah, I think that's a big part of it. It just
Well, the good thing here is that if Fida tended to smoke one afterwards, her voice wouldn't change.
Okay.
Oh, good.
But I guess it depends on whether or not it's a comic that few hundred pages, and then somewhere in there's a not safe for work scene, or if it's completely centered around not.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I think that makes it.
There's stuff that's sensual, that's sexy, or innuendo. You know, that's all fine. But when you go like beyond that, it's like no.
Yeah. And also it would have to be like that's one thing that has to be like really really good. And if it's like just slightly not good, then it's really quickly becomes cringy and bad. Yeah, that's also why. I would be cautious with that at least. But yeah. Xfrei X2032 says, thank you all for the amazing event. Thank you for watching, for sticking around for so long, because we've been active for like 3.5 hours now. So
yeah,
I think it's time for us to call it a day. I have to go to work tomorrow as well.
I don't.
Mondays.
Holidays.
Mondays. Oh no.
Vacation.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh well, then. Yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you all for sticking around. Like us, Ben, Carmel, and also now Constance for dropping by and talking with us for this long. It's been really, really cool. Always amazing to talk to you guys, and hopefully see you in a few months for Chapter 4, which hopefully should come out in, like I said, hopefully if we
maybe we can make it
this year.
End of this year or beginning of the next one.
This year might be difficult. I mean, beginning of next year, yeah. I could think maybe 3 months. I mean, you do Crown.
Yeah, it's getting close to the holiday
Yes, I'm
season. I think
halfway
a lot of
done.
people are going to be real busy.
Yeah, it's
I would
like the
imagine.
holidays are coming and stuff. Yeah, so that might put a damper on things. But I think in general, I think 3 months is February should definitely be doable. Yeah, so it shouldn't take too long.
Cool.
All right.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
thank you so much, everyone. And I think we can. I think our engineer, like tech guys, is fallen asleep. So I will go and end stream from off frame. Okay, let's hope I know which button to press to end stream. Let's see. There's a big end broadcast button, so I think that should be it. So bye bye guys.
Have a nice one, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, you too.